Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Arnold Classic. We are back here once again, Columbus, Ohio, a yearly event, an annual event, of course. I'm here with Aaron Singerman, no stranger, of course, to the Arnold Classics and, of course, the Olympias, as it would be. But who's the new guy? Hey, we got Nick Miller here, everybody.
How's it going?
Now, this is your debut, so we're gonna kind of ease you into this whole thing, Nick. And I know you've been seeing this from afar. Of course, you've got a great website that's up on YouTube. With Nick's Strength and Power.
You got it right.
I know. See, I almost did the power thing.
He was been practicing. He's like, Nick. Yeah.
But this is cool because we obviously got the old veteran, and by old I mean I'm old. And then of course Nick. Now Nick, you're a young guy. You're only what, 20 something?
25.
25. I've got Aaron's got shoes older than you. All right.
I'm like the KG veteran compared to Nick anyway, right?
That's right. Well, hey, all things, but this will be a great experience for you. Have you ever been to an Arnold?
I've been to 10 of them.
10. Okay, so you're certainly no stranger. Hold that microphone up. See, I got to teach you already.
Okay, I got it.
These people want to hear what you got to say.
I got it.
Now, this will be a little bit different experience for you because going to an Arnold, mostly as a fan, I assume that would be most of the years. It's different than when you're behind the scenes and you're a part of what's going on, and these guys are coming right off stage. And we saw the prejudging just a little while ago, so you saw some great physiques up close. What do you think? A little bit different than what you're normally used to?
It's definitely cool being backstage here. It's something I've never got to do before, and it's really cool to see all the guys and how everything works in the pump room. Because I only got the pump room passes a couple years back when it was at Veterans Memorial.
Right.
So it was a little bit bigger over there, so it's kind of cool to see the cramped space back there for the first time.
Yeah, and you got to meet Lee Haney just a few minutes ago.
Lee Haney, 8-time Mr. Olympia.
How cool was that?
It was awesome. He gave me his business card, so that was...
Yeah. It's got the wrong number on it, but don't worry about that. All right, Aaron, let's talk a little bit of shop here, man.
Yes.
Prejudging just held a little while ago, earlier today. I don't want to think there was a whole lot of surprises there. I mean, as we both saw, Rulli Winkler. Now, Rulli had a guest posing just a few weeks ago, and one of the critiques that came out of that was he looks off. Like he looks like he's behind.
Yeah.
Looks like he's 4 weeks out. He's really going to have to hurry it up. And you never know with these guys because the big guys, and Rulli's close to 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Those big guys hold a lot of water. So it's not unusual for them to be not as sharp as the smaller guys.
Plus,
but he didn't really draw it in as much as he needed to, did he?
No. So plus he was in. So that was the thing, right? He was in Nepal doing who does a guest posing 2 weeks before a show
with the Sherpas.
in Nepal, right? And then with the Sherpas. So I thought, I gave him like a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, thinking like, well, you know how it goes with a big guy traveling on a flight. I mean, that's a long flight. I thought maybe he's holding additional water and everything, but honestly, after seeing that guest posing, I was like, it's probably not going to be only water. And I guess earlier today we saw that it wasn't, and that he really was not nowhere near 100%.
Sure. Well, we might see a repeat of history. Now, last year, I'll remind you, Nick. Of course, you know this already.
I remember.
You do remember.
Yep.
It was Bonac and Rulli.
Yep.
And Bonac ended up in the winner's circle. Now you're defending Arnold Classic champion. Rulli, it was close, but Rulli was definitely a little soft, needed a little time. Shade to 2 weeks forward to our good friend Tony Doherty's show in the Arnold Australia, and it flip-flopped. Rulli, with that extra time, sharpened it up, and man, he looked tremendous. A lot of people saying that might have been his all-time best conditioning at that Australia. So interesting to see. Might we see that again this year?
I don't think we're going to see it again this year. I think in Australia he had a much smaller, much tighter waist. And I think we didn't really see the same thing at prejudging today. I think his gut hung out a little bit in the back poses. If you looked at it from the side, you could see a little bit of distension there. So I think it's not the same as Australia.
Well, one thing you did see was William Bonac, who's got to be one of the most consistent pros on the circuit. This guy's never out of shape. I mean, you get various degrees. He's 99%, he's 98%, but I tell you what, he don't miss the mark by much at all.
No, Bob. William looked like granite today. I mean, he really was super hard. Obviously he works with his coach Neil Hill, who's a family friend, a Boca resident now, moved from Wales about 2 years ago down to Boca, trains at Flex's gym, and he has been telling me and showing me pictures of William, saying he's going to be bringing it, and as usual, he did. And I'm picking him as my as the winner tonight, but we'll see how it goes.
I'm not picking him as my winner.
No, I know you're not.
No,
I know you're
you
not.
know why? Because Brandon Currie came out here, and he lit that stage up. And I tell you what, man, he's made improvements. We've all seen him over the last couple of years. He pretty much exiles himself into Kuwait at our good friend Badr Bodai's Oxygen Gyms, and man, that's paid off in dividends. Best Brandon Currie I've ever seen. We always talk about the consummate apples and oranges comparison, but that's what you had out there with William Bonac and Brandon Currie. Bonak's just a ball of muscle, man. You know, it looks like somebody took a big hammer, like in the cartoons, and just hit him on the head, and he's, you know, he's just compact and muscular, and Currie's just pretty.
Yeah.
He's just got that pretty physique. So which way is it going to go? Well, me and Aaron got a cheeseburger riding on this one, buddy, but I got to go with my man Brandon Currie.
I'm going to go with Currie, too.
See, now this is a wise kid. I like him already. See? Because he knows the champ. I may not always be right, but I'm never wrong.
Well, look, my opinion on Brandon Currie is, number one, he's made incredible transformation. I mean, from when he won the Arnold Brazil. Yeah, you remember that one?
That's
Cedric got disqualified, and that was my first and only trip to Brazil. And watching Brandon up there, I was so happy for Brandon when he won. But I thought, man, if Cedric was there, what would have happened, right? And now you got Brandon Currie, like, probably, I guess, 30 pounds heavier and in better shape. So Brandon Currie has made this incredible transformation and basically sacrificed the majority of his year away from his, I think, 4 kids and his wife, Brandy, to sacrifice to make this transformation. So it is certainly a feel-good story to see Brandon win if that's what happens.
Well, we got a whole bunch more guys to preview. You're going to be back in just a few moments with the rest of that lineup and what happened this morning and how it's going to look out tonight. Keep tuned, everybody. We got a lot more coming to you tonight. We'll be right back after these messages.
Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day, 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 day. To our last night on shore, hail to the foam. Until we meet again, here's wishing you a happy voyage home. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air and land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flames from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in pain, we'll go down in flames. Hey, nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. 2, 3, 4, hut, 2, 3. And wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along, along, along.
Please stand for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there, still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. America, America.
Now please welcome to the stage the president of the IFBB Pro League, Jim Mannion.
Thank you, Clint. Welcome, everybody. Just want to say that the IFBB Professional League and the NPC are very proud to be working with Jim Larmer, Bob Larmer, Arnold, of course, and the whole team over here. You've been around the last few days. They had over 700 competitors in the amateur event. It was the biggest amateur event they've ever had here, so we're proud to be working with them. As you know, we're now working worldwide in the IFBB Professional League. We're in over 60 countries. But when I come here to Columbus, which I've been coming for a long time, as Jim Larmer can attest to, I was here in 1970 when Arnold beat Sergio for the first time. It was a phenomenal show. I was a little bit younger then. But anyway, when we get to the Arnold, we know that our season has officially started. We have a great lineup tonight, so I want you all to sit back and enjoy it. Have a good time. Thank you.
Charles Dixon. Rolly Winkler.
All right, Bob Chick, we are back, and we are off and running here at the 2019
Joshua
Arnold Classic in Columbus,
Lenartowicz.
Ohio. I'm here flagged by my man Aaron Singerman and the new guy on the block, Nick Miller. And guys, what we're seeing now is the lineup for this year's event. Host Tony Doherty introducing the guys one by one just so the audience can get a quick look at them, and then, of course, they'll come back with their individual presentations. You know, Aaron, you look at these guys tonight as opposed to this morning, and the judging is live. I mean, this ain't like the old days where it was pretty much done after the prejudging.
Right, Bob.
So the judges are looking at these guys tonight.
And things can change tonight, so we could see a flip-flop between a place or two. Some guys, maybe some surprises tonight. It's always exciting to see these guys judge and what they can bring condition-wise, the difference between the prejudging and the night show. They got what, Bob? 6 or 7 hours to dry out and look a little bit harder for the night show.
And I've seen guys change in minutes on stage. So if you don't think, a few hours will make any difference, you're mistaken. And a lot of the athletes have been mistaken in that over the years, Nick, where they think, well, I'm going to go eat a pizza after prejudging because I think it's pretty much done. And guess what? It's not. And that could rebound on you. And I've seen places change. I mean, I've had results in my hand at the night show when I'm hosting shows. And I'll get the hold on signal from the head judge, and guess what? Guy moves from second to fourth. So these guys have to be on their game.
Absolutely.
Please welcome to the stage this evening's Master of Ceremonies, Tony Doherty.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Tony Doherty's my name. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. They said to say a little bit about me so you get to know me. I first came here to Columbus, Ohio in 1991, and I thought two things. One, I'm
Aaron,
going
our
to bring the
good
Arnold
friend
Classic
Tony
to
Doherty
Australia
taking the
one day.
mic, taking over for our
Two,
good friend Lonnie
one day I
Tieper,
want to MC
longtime
the show.
MC here at the Arnold.
So 5 years ago,
little change this year in the
we
direction
started the
that
Arnold
Tony is
Classic
no
Australia.
stranger
We'll
to
do
the
our
Arnold
fifth
stages. He
edition
actually puts on his
next
own
week.
Arnold. That's, of course, is the
2
Arnold
weeks in
Classic
Melbourne,
Australia.
and,
Tony,
I'm up
definitely
here
one of the best
tonight
guys in
to
the sport.
entertain you, ladies
Tony
and
is a
gentlemen,
great
so
friend,
welcome.
a really good guy, an excellent MC, and excellent contest promoter. I've been to Australia to show several times, and it is a first-rate show.
celebrate
And when he
a
partnered
lifetime
with
of work.
Arnold, he really even took it up a whole other notch.
He sure did. Well, you're not going to find a bigger fan of the sport than Tony Doherty. So this is a great opportunity, and glad to see Tony in that all too familiar spot up on the stage behind that podium with the microphone. But he'll definitely lend a little bit to this competition here tonight. As you can see, another great set design here at the Arnold. I mean, listen, you don't need much more than the name Arnold on the stage to tell you exactly where you are and what's going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the greatest show on earth.
Of course, we
Thank
have
you.
his classic pose. We saw on some of the social media earlier today. I noticed Arnold had gotten back out by the statue and hit a shot. And this is last year having Cedric come out here, and the year before last, and having Cedric come out there and hit that shot. It's really cool.
Well, we talked about some of the other guys in our preview, and Cedric being one of them. Now, Cedric's a former Arnold Classic winner, and obviously everybody knows Cedric. He's dangerous anytime he gets onto that stage. But we did not see the best Cedric we've ever seen on the stage earlier this morning. Question is, Nick, can he sharpen up tonight to move up in the rankings? I mean, I pretty much had him out of the top 5. Can he sharpen up enough to get into the top 5 tonight?
I don't think he's going to be able to sharpen up enough for the top 5. No way. No.
Cedric has that beautiful shape.
Nobody
Nobody can deny that he is about as statuesque and Arnold-esque as you get. But yeah, I don't know. Bob.
All right, well, you're seeing your very first competitor take the stage, and he might be the first competitor in the winner's circle when the end of the night comes and the smoke clears. This is Brandon Currie, and as you can see, Brandon has just made tremendous progress over the past couple of years, bringing himself in here as probably the #1 contender to the title. And let's just take it in here and then see what Brandon's done with his posing and his presentation. Aaron, as you can see, Brandon just with an outstanding physique on the stage in all areas. I mean, he's got just great muscularity, symmetry, proportion, conditioning, presentation is spot on. Again, a consummate professional again, over all these years, but you can really see where he's got, it looks like somebody squeezed him in the middle. He's got that tiny, tiny waist and the broad shoulders, and he's brought his legs up. That was a weak point years ago, Aaron, but it's not a weak point anymore.
He is really, he's done a great job of keeping those classic proportions and adding that size. And honestly, that's really the issue that you see with some of these guys as they get bigger and add muscle, especially 30 pounds plus of muscle. You get that blown out midsection. And even we can see with William Bonac, the one thing, a critical thing would say is as he gains more muscle, that is something he needs to be conscious of.
Well, you're seeing it right there. I mean, that back lat spread and that back double bind, Nick, is second to none probably on the stage here tonight. If they're going to beat Brandon Currie, that's where they're going to have to beat him.
Especially with that small waist and that V-taper effect. I mean, Brandon is one of the best in the game when it comes to the midsection.
Although our next athlete's been on the pro scene for quite a while and done quite a bit, this is his inaugural debut in Columbus, Ohio. He's from Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Akeem Williams.
All right, big Akeem Williams taking the stage. And when you say big, I don't think there's anybody actually bigger on the stage tonight than Akeem Williams. This guy's packing more muscle per inch than anybody out there, Aaron.
He is absolutely huge. I mean, when he came out this morning at prejudging, I mean, not only is he huge for Akeem Williams, he's also in really great shape. So he came out extremely round, extremely full, and in excellent condition. I was very impressed with Akeem compared to other outings I've seen him at.
Nick, if there's a critique on Akeem over the past few years, it's that he's big enough and he's got plenty of muscle to boot, and he's actually put together fairly well for a big man. It's that conditioning. It's getting that skin thin where you can see more striation, more separation through the muscle groups. What are you seeing here tonight?
I would say it almost looks like he has a film of water over his entire physique that kind of prevents you from really seeing the muscle clarity as clearly as some of the other guys.
It's something that he's been, fighting since he got to become a pro. He has what I would consider, like, it's weird, right, Bob? Some people just have thicker skin, and it's like something that they deal with and have to figure out the solution to this, and that's kind of Akeem's always been Akeem's issue, certainly not size.
Oh, no. Come on now.
Isn't that your old move, Bob?
Yeah. Big man showing some moves, and it was like in slow motion. It was like he was trying to teach you how to do it. He may start breakdancing next. I don't know. This could be interesting.
I think Akeem will be the next Melvin Anthony. I don't know.
I'm not seeing that one. Yeah, I'm going to stop short of that one. I think that's as much funk as you're going to see out of Akeem here tonight. But listen, big man, stay with the big stuff. Hit 15 most musculars and get off the stage.
Pro debut here last year, first time in Columbus, placed in the top 10, went out to Australia where he moved into the top 5. But what we noticed about him is that he's hardcore, and the fans love him, ladies and gentlemen, and I know you're out there for him tonight. From the UK, please welcome Luke Sandow.
All right, one of the newcomers onto the scene in the last couple of years, big Luke Sandow representing the United Kingdom. And Luke has really brought it up over the last couple of years. You can see the improvements he's made, especially in his conditioning, Aaron. That's where he had the size last year, but he just did not have the conditioning. Now it looks like he's got a great combination of the two, and he got some great call-outs this morning. Looked like he was in, I would have probably had him in third place this morning, third, fourth, somewhere in that position. He looks in about equal shape here tonight.
Yeah, full disclosure, he's a Redcon 1 athlete, so I am absolutely partial. And,
absolutely.
I would love to say, you know, that he would even be first or second, but I think he is ecstatic to be. His goal, Bob, was to be top 6. And it was kind of almost an ambitious goal because last year he was out of the top 10, you know, and he did great in Australia the following 2 weeks. But at this show, it was very disappointing for him. He set the goal of top 6, and man, he couldn't be any happier. I mean, he is just, you know, over the moon with how he did.
Nick, Big Luke looking like he started in 300 out there with that beard. I don't know. I've kind of gotten accustomed to it. I was never really a big fan of the beard on stage, being that nobody seems to have won a show since Jessup Wilcoch back in 1983 or something around there. But I always thought it was like the kiss of death. But Luke seems to wear it well. But, you know, the biggest difference I see between last year and this year, Nick, is polish.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot better conditioning this year. Actually, one of the better conditioned guys in the show.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. We had a conversation about the beard. And he asked me what I thought, and I said, you know what? 5 years ago, I told you shave it off for sure, no question. But now the times have changed, Bob, and he absolutely pulls it off. And by the way, Nick is right. When he was from the back, I mean, there are not many guys other than maybe William and Brandon who could, you know, talk about condition, the same condition.
And from the back, the beard don't matter.
Nah.
Our next athlete is no stranger here in Columbus. He's competed 5 times before, but always in the 212 class. Well, he got bigger, and he's back, ladies and gentlemen, in the open. From Greenville, South Carolina, please welcome Charles Dixon.
All right, there's a reason they call him the Tank. Charles Dixon is wide as he is tall.
Former 212 competitor who made the transition to an open bodybuilder because, well, there's no 212 here right now. So he decided to make the jump, and he is certainly a big, big, big little man.
Well, here's the problem I see, and I love Charles Dixon. We go way back. He's always in a good mood. He's just one of those guys you just got to like, you know. But what I saw this morning was, and I applaud his decision because there is no 212er this year to go into the open. However, to me, what it showed was that there's a reason that there's a 212 division.
Exactly.
As big as Charles is in that division, he looked like a kid out there next to these guys.
I actually just talked to him at the meet and greet, and he said he's just happy to have the opportunity to still be able to compete at the Arnold, so he's just happy to be here.
I like Charles. He is one hell of a good guy, and he is always happy. That's something you can always count on, a smile from Charles.
Well, the nice thing is these athletes have the ability to go into any category they want. You know, if he wants to go into 212, if he wants to go in the open. So, again, I applaud his decision to enter the show. I'm sure he's not going to be pleased with it. He's eventually placing. However, he's in a no-lose. I mean, at this point, listen, you go in, get a taste of the Arnold stage, mix it up with the big boys, and see what you got. And the nice thing is, Aaron, if he wants to go to a 212 show next month on the calendar or anywhere throughout the year for the Pro League, he can do that.
Yeah. And he's been very successful as a 212 pro. So just because he won't place well here tonight doesn't mean he doesn't have a bright future in the 212 category.
No, make no mistake. This guy's a threat in any 212 show he enters. And I'm guaranteeing you right now he will qualify for the Olympia again this year.
And now, this guy was 4th here last year. Wanted to improve on that. Went out to Australia 2 weeks later and won the whole thing, beating the winner from here and created a little bit of a rivalry. And he was 3rd in the Olympia. He's originally from Curaçao in the Caribbean, ladies and gentlemen, but lives in Holland. They call him the Beast. Please welcome to the stage the one and only Rolly Winkler.
All right, here comes the Beast, Rolly Winkler taking the stage. And this is a guy obviously coming in with a lot of hype as he was not only in the top 3 at the Olympia, but the People's Champ this past year. Now, that was pretty cool to see because everybody loves Rolly Winkler. You talk about a guy with a great personality. But the people overwhelmingly voting him as the People's Champ. Nick, what are you seeing tonight?
He looks a little bit improved to me from the pre-judging. Looks a little bit harder from the front, but still definitely not his best showing.
at the Olympia, Bob, a lot of people were talking about Rulli as not only a people's champ, people were saying he should have won even. So, it's definitely, this show was his to win for sure. If he was 100%, I think Rulli Winkler walks away with this thing. And unfortunately, Rulli Winkler, not at 100%, is nowhere near. I mean, there's a big difference between Rulli at 90% and Rulli at 100.
Well, Rulli is doing Australia in 2 weeks, and you can see from that pose right there, he's just that little bit of, just that little hint, that little film of water, and that's enough at this level to take it down a few notches. That will all be gone within 2 weeks, I can guarantee you. Watch the physique you see on the Australia Arnold stage as compared here tonight, and you see how important it is and how fast that body can change.
Bobby literally looks 2 weeks out. So at the Arnold Australia, he could come in and really shock people, because he certainly has all the tools and all the size he could possibly need.
Yeah, there's who's that guy down in front? Hey, buddy, get out of the way, man.
Arnold Snapchatting, of course.
Arnold is right on top of social media, man. I tell you, I'm impressed. At 70 years old, Arnold, he's got the Snapchat going, he's got the Instagram, and he's right down there in front. And of course, the athletes love it when they see him down there. They just get right in the camera, to signify that they see that he's there.
Rulli is freaky, most muscular. That's usually the showstopper, Bob.
One thing, Nick, you can see with these guys like Rulli. Right now, I'm just guessing he's probably got 5-6 pounds to drop. Maybe 7 pounds, somewhere in that range. Now, he's a big dude. I mean,
and you can really see it in the lower body there.
Exactly. But it makes them a little blockier looking. You can see his physique looks much more streamlined when he's down that 5-6 pounds. Right. And my prediction, you'll see it in 2 weeks.
Yep. His second time here in Columbus, Ohio. The first time was in 2016, where he placed third in his first ever Arnold Classic. Went on to win the Tampa Pro. He's one of the biggest guys in the sport. He's big, he's bad, and he's back, ladies and gentlemen, from Melbourne, Australia, Josh Lonardo.
All right, well, the king of the gym, they call him, Josh Lonardo. Tony might be a little bit biased on that intro because that's his boy. He is from Australia. So, and we have seen Josh grow up in this industry the last couple of years. And I know you spent a lot of time with Josh and when Dallas, was with us. And big shout out to Dallas up there in that big gym in the sky. But Josh has carried it on very well, and you can see where the improvements he's made. He came in a little bit soft this morning. I thought he just needed to trim it up. Probably the same thing as like Rulli, maybe 5-6 pounds, and he would have been in contention. But man, you could see the muscle this kid's put on.
Crazy vascularity too.
He got to spend quite a bit of time down in Boca Raton and actually live with Dallas for a few months before the Olympia, and he's a great guy and certainly trains very, very hard. Him and Dallas are great training partners because both of them are pushing some crazy weight, and you can see that looking at Josh's physique at 280 pounds or so.
Now, listen, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up, but listen, I'm a Joe Cocker fan like anybody, all right? But the love music, man, these guys are killing me. They're killing me out. Listen, here's a guy, he's 290 pounds on freaking stage, right? Looks like Mr. Clean, right? Bringing it out to the play. I got to be hitting most musculars to AC/DC or something, stomping around on that stage like freaking Godzilla. I'm not a big fan of the love music, man. People are sleeping in the third row right now.
He's trying to set the mood.
What kind
of mood
for
what?
Unfortunately, I'm sure everybody out there is taking a look at Josh and saying, man, if he would have just been a little bit harder, a little bit drier, he would have really been up there. I know earlier in our preview, a lot of people were saying Josh is going to take this thing, and unfortunately, he's just nowhere near 100%.
Well, where you see it is in the separation. Now look at his legs in particular, right? It's all there, but it's obscured. You're not seeing that deep separation like you are with some of the veterans.
Right.
Now he is a young guy, obviously, in the sport, but that's got more to do with the training, the posing practice. and just bringing it down enough. If this guy's down 5 pounds, all those cuts are half an inch deeper, and you might be looking at your next champ.
Absolutely.
Another guy who's going to be competing, obviously, in Australia, so it'll be interesting to see what he looks like 5 or 10 pounds down.
Well, that's hometown for Josh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you got any groundswell of support, you got Mom, Dad, Sis, Bro, and Uncle Junior coming
Arnold
out.
himself said that we
They're
want
coming
to
to
improve
He
the
is
posing and
Mr.
the
Australia. They
performances, and all
love
the
him in
guys have
Australia.
lifted.
I mean,
In fact, the Best Posing Award is back, the Ed Corney Posing Award, which will be presented at the end of the greatest poser ever. And it's really made the guys lift their game, which is great to see. Our next competitor won this show in 2007. He won the first Arnold Classic in Spain in 2011. Originally from the Dominican Republic, ladies and gentlemen, and now residing in New York, New York. Please welcome Victor Martinez.
All right, the Dominican Dominator still added. Victor Martinez. I was on stage with this guy, Aaron. He turned pro the same year I did, winning the 2000 Nationals. I had won the USA that year. We are 19 years later, and he's still doing it. Crazy.
he's what, Bob? He's 45?
46?
46?
Yeah,
46 years
about
old.
right. You know, but the fact you could still be doing this 19 years later after turning pro is awesome.
Can you imagine yourself up there, Bob, doing this still?
I'm on stage all the time, Aaron, as you
Yes,
know.
you're
But,
right,
but
you're right,
I
yeah.
got a different suit on these days.
Yes.
No, I can't imagine it. This is a testament to, his ability to focus, to keep doing this. And I tell you what, listen, he still looks good. I mean, he's lost a little bit. He's lost a step along the way from the Victor Martinez we remember when he was battling it out for the title of Mr. Olympia. And a lot of people had him winning the Olympia back in 07 against Jay Cutler. But listen, he's not far behind, I tell you that. He's still bringing it.
Yeah. As you know, Bob, as you get older, that we notice in the legs, right? And that's the thing that we're noticing with Victor now. I know he was probably unhappy with his call out this morning. He was in the last call out. And, if the legs were back where they used to be, who knows where he would have ended up.
I'll tell you this, Nick, the fans love Victor Martinez. He is always amongst the favorites every year. The fans simply flock to him. Victor's probably one of the most just, down home, just laid back guys I've ever met in my life. If he was any more mellow, he'd be going backwards, I swear.
Well, don't forget, Bob, he's a former Arnold Classic champion, 2007.
You can see the back is still amongst the best, even at his age and with all these years of training. And listen, it's a miracle just staying injury-free when you've been training this long.
Yeah. And from the front, when you see him from the upper body and from the front, he really hasn't lost much at all,
Now, anytime you're talking about the pro league and the level of bodybuilding at the best in the world, you don't have to lose a lot to slip a whole bunch of places. I mean, you got the new dogs coming up. I mean, he's literally competing against guys half his age here. So we tip our hat, to Victor Martinez for still bringing it. But you got to be realistic also in that his placing, unfortunately, is not going to be what he was looking for. But that's the life of any athlete.
Victor Martinez. Our next person on stage has only been a pro for 18 months. Did 3 big shows last year and made a great impression. He's a new kid on the block and everyone's talking about him. The pre-judging today, people went crazy over this guy. So remember this name, ladies and gentlemen, from Brazil, Raphael Brando.
Well, we go from the old lion to the new guy, Raphael Brando. This guy's from Brazil. He's relatively new onto the scene, but he kind of burst on last year. This kid's got a great future. I love his physique. He needs a little bit of thickness. I mean, you can see just right there the difference between a Victor Martinez, who's been training probably longer than this guy's been on the earth, and what he's bringing. But you know what? What a great start to his bodybuilding career. He's got to thicken up. He's got to mature a little bit. But, man, he's complete, and he's bringing it, Nick.
Very aesthetic and great lines as well.
And he's a very young guy. I think he's in his mid-20s, like you, Nick.
He's like my age,
yeah. Your age.
See, that's what you should be looking like, Nick. Underachiever. Look at he's on the Arnold stage, and you're sitting here with us idiots. You know. What you'll see with Raphael is he's got all the. I'd almost want to see him in classic physique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like you can make a case for this guy being in classic because he's got all those attributes. He's got the small waist. He's got the thinner build, even though he's obviously tremendously muscular. You can see just by that pose right there, very Bob Paris. If I'm
Absolutely.
picking a guy to kind of liken him to.
Very good comparison.
And when he hits back shots, which you will in a moment, you'll see the kind of condition. He is in great condition at this show. It's just that lack of size that separates him from the top guys.
I'll tell you this, some of the top guys were off enough that he may overtake some of those guys.
Yep.
So you might be lacking a little bit in size, but you can see right there the thickness in the back is not of the veterans of a Ruli Winkler or Josh Lonardo. But he brings other things to the table. He's got more separation than a lot of those guys too. So
And a smaller waist.
small waist, and that's Arnold's a big fan of the small waist. That's why he's out there right now.
Great separation in the lower body, Bob.
Yeah, his legs, you can see, are clearly ahead of his upper body. But you know what? You can bring – it's hard to get legs. If you don't have legs by his age, chances are they ain't coming. But you can get upper body, and that comes through maturity and time in the gym.
More great posing. He got everyone moving. I could see you all kind of grooving in your seats. I've got a little bit going on. I can see the people backstage dancing around there. It's fantastic. Our next competitor hardly needs an introduction because he's been here 5 or 6 times before. Last time he won was in 2017. Arnold went to interview him and he interviewed Arnold. It was probably one of the most viewed things we've ever seen in our sport. We love him, ladies and gentlemen. He's from Heath Springs, South Carolina. Cedric McMillan.
All right, Big Mac, Cedric McMillan. No stranger to the Arnold Classic stage, a former champion from just a couple of years ago. He was one of those names thrown around as one of the contenders to come in. And of course, Cedric's a contender in any show he goes in. But I don't think we saw the Cedric we were hoping to see. He's always riding that fine line between coming in too big and listen, when he's big, he's round, he's full, he's got a lot of butt, but he lacks the separation and the conditioning. If he gets the conditioning, he seems a little bit stringy.
Yes.
And he's lacking the fullness and roundness that he needs to win. So he's got a very thin tightrope that he's got to get on to achieve that. I'm not so sure which side of the line he's on this show. All I know is this is not the best Cedric that we've seen.
Yeah. He's full and big for sure, but it's almost like with Cedric, you got like a 50-50 shot. You're not 100% sure what you're going to get. And as soon as he walked out at prejudging, just seeing his legs and the lack of a lot of detail as he was walking onto the stage, I was like, oh, you know.
The midsection, too.
Yeah, the midsection. Doesn't have the deepest abs, so there's a little water, you miss some stuff.
Well, you know what? It's a good eye, Nick. As you can see right there, I mean, I've seen abs on Cedric better than this, like when he won 2 years ago. His abs were etched deep in there, and you can see, but even in that pose right there, and he's got some classic poses. Let's not mince words, but you can see from the picture of Cedric behind him what he brings to the table, what he can bring.
Oh, Bob, what does he got here?
I have no idea. One thing I love about Cedric is you never really know, what's coming next, but the blind double bicep, I mean, I'm not quite sure what we're going here, but...
Mr. Miyagi.
Does it help to see as you pose, Bob? I don't know. I don't know if that's an advantage or a disadvantage.
I don't know. It's not like you're shooting a basketball. I mean, I'm not quite sure why this is hard or tough. Or if we painted it green, he'd be one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It's entertaining, at least.
I find it confusing.
Hoping the judges turn a blind eye to this because props actually are against the rules, but it's Tonight Show finals. I mean, it is not the prejudging, so hopefully they'll just overlook it. No pun intended there.
Yeah, I got that one, Bob.
Thank you.
I wonder what Arnold's thinking. Now they're giving away $10,000 for the best poser tonight. Do you think this is Cedric's kind of ploy to get the $10,000?
If he wins, he'll never see it coming, bro.
It could be blind luck.
Surprised he didn't put it on Arnold's head. Cedric, he likes to have fun with the Terminator.
Cedric McMillan, ladies and gentlemen. The next guy is a very experienced competitor. He's been on this stage many times, but in 2014, he became one of the very few Arnold Classic winners when he won in Brazil. He's a firefighter, ladies and gentlemen. From Dallas, Texas, welcome Steve Coock Low.
All right, Big Steve Coock Low. They call him the King Snake, and he always comes with an entourage. Mom, Dad, his beautiful wife, Amanda, also an IFBB pro in attendance. And, Aaron, Steve's one of those guys I've looked at for years, and I thought to myself, he's got every attribute to be a Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
Like, this guy should be up there. Now, he hasn't quite fulfilled that yet. I mean, he seems to get better and better, but how many years do we give these guys for, fulfilling potential?
Yeah, it's one of those things where Steve is one of the many, many guys when he came in. You're like, this is the future. This is future Mr. Olympia. I think, Bob, after about a decade, right, that starts to wear away. But I tell you what, Steve is absolutely one of the best Steves that I've seen here.
Fantastic conditioning.
Nick, Steve has one of those physiques that literally changes hour by hour, and it's difficult for him, and has been in the past, to kind of really just nail the conditioning. And when he's nailed it, I mean, he's won. He actually won the Arnold Brazil, I think it was, a couple years back.
Yep.
He just won the Indy Pro in 2018.
That's right, the Indy Pro also, but it just seems to be a hit or miss with Steve.
Yeah, definitely.
Those back poses, you can see, again here, I mean, I know they're pictures, but that picture right behind him, you can see the conditioning is a little more crisp. The separation is fantastic. And here, it's just that little bit, that little film. You just got to wring it out like just a hair. I don't know what Steve's schedules, if he's going to Australia. I tell you what, all these big boys, Australia is lining up to be a hell of a show.
Yeah. And Steve is definitely one of the bigger bodybuilders. He's probably on stage in the 270s, high 260s, 270s. And I know, Bob, right, being one of the bigger guys yourself, it's tough to see the scale move down and you get smaller. And a lot of times what to be serving them the best is to lose an extra few pounds.
Oh, there's no question about it. Listen, bodybuilding is all about illusion. I mean, it doesn't. You can be 290 pounds here, but I tell you what, I'd rather be 270 and win.
At least you like the music a little better this time, huh, Bob?
Yeah, see, now Steve's got it. See, big boy out there,
Was that Ozzy Osbourne?
280 pounder out there. He's got some rockin' music. He's, stomping around the stage and working the crowd. That's what I like to see out of the big boys. Don't try to be graceful and all that stuff. He's like a damn bulldozer out there.
Yep.
Big Steve Coock Low. Thank you, Steve. We have a tradition here in Columbus that when somebody wins the amateur overall and they get their pro card, they get invited to come and make their pro debut here in Columbus, Ohio. So this guy was our winner last year. It's his first time on a pro stage here. He's all the way from Russia, ladies and gentlemen, so let's make him welcome. Mikhail Volinkin.
Backflip off the stage, Bob.
Oh boy! Listen. We do have some breakdancing going on out there. How about that?
Whoa! That's not a mandatory pose, Bob.
That is not in the list of mandatories. You are correct, Aaron. That's a relatively newcomer here with Mikhail. I don't know a lot about his background.
He won the Arnold Amateur last year.
I was just going to say, Nick. As usual, my friend, you were on point.
He's also younger than me.
Is he?
Yep, by a couple months.
See, now this is the cool thing: is a young guy like this, like I say, about your age, Nick. What a great opportunity! Let the Arnold Amateur winners come out here and compete and qualify for this competition. And again, you can see the differences. I mean, you can see he doesn't have the level of muscularity or the thickness. Nor should he at your age.
Right.
I mean, you don't have enough years in the gym just to get there at this point. So this
Decent
is all about
conditioning,
experience. Yeah, his conditioning is good. I mean, and that's one thing about the smaller guys is they can get the conditioning, but you can see the difference between the amateurs and the professionals right here, Aaron, with the level of density, thickness. But what a great start to his career.
Definitely some gymnastics or something in his background, right?
I have a hard time just tying my shoes in the morning, all right? So this guy can do that stuff. All the power to him.
You wanted to do something to get noticed. That kind of works. Out of nowhere, backflips and all kinds of things. Our next and final competitor, ladies and gentlemen, has taken the bodybuilding world by storm. First, second, and third places in every show he's done in the last couple of years. He won last year, so he is our defending and current champion, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. The conqueror from the Netherlands. Welcome, William Bonac.
All right, the champ is here. He is your defending champion, the conqueror, William Bonac. And one thing you're going to see about William is he has every single bit of everything that a veteran brings to the stage. Size, thickness, muscularity, conditioning. There's a reason that this guy is up in that top 2 and 3 at the Olympia now, and he ain't the tallest guy out there, Aaron, but I tell you what, he makes up for it. And look at that dense muscle right there.
Started out as a 212 guy, Bob. So, I mean, it's crazy. Height-wise, he was able to put on all this muscle and be so successful in the open division.
And you talk about density, wait until he turns around and you can see the density in his back.
Well, that was the difference I saw this morning between William Bonac and Brandon Currie is when they turned around. Now, not to take away from Brandon Currie, because I still think that even though I got William beating him from the back, by contrast, I have Brandon Currie beating William from the front.
Yep.
And listen, all things are equal here. I mean, all parts are considered. All poses are considered. That's why we have mandatory poses, is to see the body and the physique in different poses to establish who's put together the best.
Bob, if shows are won from the back, I don't know.
Well, that's a nice old saying we like to use all the time, but they're not one from the back. You know what? They're one from the back, from the front, from the side, from the presentation. from the conditioning. So that's a nice phrase to use when somebody's actually beating somebody from the back. But
yeah, he is incredibly hard. He's like etched from granite.
Well, I'll tell you this. It was close enough between these two guys this morning that I think you're going to see it come down to tonight. The judges are scoring tonight, like I mentioned, so I think it's probably a 1 or 2 point decision coming out of prejudging. Just a guess on that one. But the difference, I think, is the midsection. And what
Also
Brandon
Currie
Currie has over William Bonac is you can see when William he tends to relax the midsection just a little bit. But again, he's short and stumpy, and has a whole lot of muscle over Brandon. But man, Brandon's just got that tiny, tiny waist. To me, that's the difference between these guys tonight.
The one scary thing for William is as he continues to improve, when you're talking about improving, he can't get a lot harder. He's in such great shape. So adding muscle is almost a scary thing for William because, like you said, because that short midsection, you don't want to add in too much there.
No, actually, he almost needs to taper off his training a little bit, and in particular, I would not be doing powerlifting movements. I would not be doing deadlifts, things like that. His lats go right into his hip bones, you know what I mean? Now, that can be good or that can be bad. And as bodybuilders get older, you tend to get a little bit thicker in the middle. So
you can see
hopefully he's smart with his training, and we'll see it as these guys will be coming out to
Thank you, William Bonac.
in just a few moments.
That concludes round 3. And round 3 was the posing round. And Arnold Classics all over the world, the posing round is judged. As we said earlier, there's a posing award tonight, which Arnold will tell us about later and what that means to him. But I think the guys really lifted, ladies and gentlemen. So let's put your hands together for all those fantastic posing routines. I'm going to bring them all back out in just a second. And now we go to what we call the confirmation round. Now, for those of you that are new to bodybuilding, at the pre-judging, some of the guys might have mistimed it a little bit. Some of the judges may have been unsure between this place and that place. And they got the chance to see them pose and to see them dry out or carb up a little bit more. And now the judges have one more chance to compare the guys and see where they're going to finish. So this is being judged live, ladies and gentlemen, and I think you can be a part of it by encouraging them and clapping and cheering and all that kind of thing. So let's hand it over to Steve Weinberger, our head judge now, for the confirmation round.
Thank you, Tony. In numerical order, Brandon, Luke, Cedric, and William.
So we're starting the comparison round here,
Cedric
Bob.
and William, switch, please.
All right, now this is where you separate the men from the boys.
And Bob, this is a surprise in this top 4 here, this first call out. We thought that that Cedric was not in the top 5. We were saying earlier.
Yeah, well, depending on how head judge Steve Weinberger does these call-outs, he will give guys an opportunity to move up or down. So yeah, we are seeing Cedric has been kind of added into that top 4, or projected top 4 call-out.
And that would explain the comparison we saw at prejudging between Cedric and Luke.
Exactly right, Nick, because it was kind of an odd call-out, I thought. As head judge Steve Weinberger called out a comparison between Luke Sandow and Cedric, and I thought it was a little bit oddly placed, but now you see Cedric, they clearly feel is getting a little bit better, and Luke seems to be holding his own here. If I was a betting man, I would say this is what your top 4. Now, what they might do, Aaron, is leave a couple of guys and pull a couple of guys.
Right.
Hypothetically, if they pull back William and Brandon, then you're looking at 1 or 2 either way. And what they do sometimes is they'll leave Cedric out there, Luke, and then they'll bring somebody up, like a Josh Lonardo or somebody, or a Ruli Winkler. I'd be shocked if they didn't add those 2 guys into the mix as soon as they get done with this round.
Back double bicep.
Now here's that matchup we were talking about. Look at that back double by between Brandon Currie and William Bonac.
If you're looking at the condition of these 4 gentlemen, certainly Cedric stands out in terms of condition or lack thereof, right?
I'll tell you this, Luke actually looks like he's getting better.
Yeah.
He looks a little sharper to me tonight than he actually did this morning. And as he poses, he seems to be getting a little bit sharper. I don't know if that's enough to move him up, but it might move him, keep him in third place. As I don't know if Cedric has enough to catch Luke at this point. You can see that the conditioning is just slightly different between Brandon. Brandon Currie kind of has that hard, almost, I don't want to say grainy, but that thin skin conditioning. Yeah. Bonac is obviously in great condition also, but you can see there is a difference between these two guys. What a tremendous improvement from Brandon Currie from 3-4 years ago.
One thing about Brandon's presentation too is that he's always so picture perfect. I mean, if you look at his oil and his color, I mean, he really looks, I mean, certainly the best in terms of presentation.
Very polished.
Well, Brandon's killing William in that front ab shot right there. So as much as William was beating him from the back on that back double by. And this shot's a toss-up, man. I tell you, hard to beat William Bonac when he's got that much muscle on that frame.
I could tell you the happiest guy to be up there is certainly Luke. Oh, they're bringing them all back.
So,
Roley, Joshua.
All right, so he's
Raphael
dismissing
and
all
Steve.
4.
And so, Bob, nothing is written in stone, right? But that's a pretty good sign that that's our top 4, right? Unless they're bringing them back in a little bit.
And you know what? You never know with Big Steve, man. He likes to mix and match. And the one thing I like amongst many
Joshua and
about
Roley,
Big
switch,
Steve
please.
is he gives these guys an opportunity to compete.
Steve and Raphael,
Listen,
switch,
I would
please.
rather see too many comparisons rather than a lack of them because bodybuilding is all about comparison. So
Gentlemen,
give these
quarter
guys an
turn
opportunity,
right.
put them next to each other. The only thing I like to see sometimes, I like what I call crossover comparisons. I would have liked to have
Quarter
seen
turn.
either Luke or Cedric stay out there and have one of these guys have an opportunity to see if he's actually better than the guy who's projected to be for him.
I'll tell you what, this morning,
Quarter turn.
Big Steve had him really work quite a bit. I mean, he was, yeah. I mean, it was one after another. So,
And listen,
Face front.
let's not make any mistake. The prejudging does count more, so to say, into the judging. Okay, this is what they call a confirmation
double
round of
bicep.
scoring. Okay, it's one last chance for the judges to get a look at the competitors and make any changes that they see fit. So it does count into the scoring, but the prejudging is where you're making your bones out there.
Front lat spread.
Steve Coock Low looking pretty good in this lineup here.
Another good eye, Nick. Look at the young guy here. I tell you what, man, you are on the ball, my friend. Steve Coock Low looks like he's getting a little bit sharper as he goes.
Sharper than Roley for sure.
Look at Raphael Brando. He looks like Steve's little brother. Look at,
yeah.
Back double bicep.
look at that. Look to your right, Raphael. That's what you're going to be looking like in another couple of years, buddy.
You can see Josh, Josh really missed it.
Josh is fading.
condition-wise.
Yeah, he's fading out a little bit, spilling over.
Yep.
He's still going to have a respectable finish here, but he's going to be a lot sharper in Australia, I can
Back
guarantee
lat
you.
spread.
Really doesn't look much different to me, Nick, than he did this morning. He looks about the same. And Raphael and Steve actually look a little bit sharper to me.
Yeah, Steve definitely looks sharper to me. Look at the vascularity in Steve's lower body.
I knew Steve this morning wasn't in the
Side
second call.
tricep.
Wasn't in the mix as much as he is tonight. So they're definitely taking a better look at Steve tonight.
Get those arms on, really. There's
Crazy.
only one other guy with arms like that in the Pro League, and that's Phil Heath.
Yeah.
So you talk about having some arms,
Abdominals
boy.
and thighs.
Those arms are crazy.
And even in not 100%, he has cross striations all over his triceps.
Oh, yeah.
The kind of striations you generally don't see on basically anybody else.
You talk about making improvements. Really has done a complete 180 on his midsection over the last, 2 years ago, Nick. It wasn't that long ago that he was getting a lot of flack
From Arnold.
for being round in the middle. You know what I mean? And he's got the gut hanging and this and that. So for those people that attribute that to other factors, you can make improvements and bring that in. You know what most of that comes from, Nick?
What's that?
Food volume.
Really?
Yeah. They point to everything you can probably think of under this sun.
you, gentlemen.
It's
Back
food
in line,
volume.
please.
These guys eat tremendous amounts of food, and that can keep your stomach out there even when you're in contest
Akeem
shape. So a
Charles
lot of the
Victor
guys,
McKell.
obviously practice helps in controlling your abs. But spreading the meals out, actually making them smaller and having more throughout the day rather than big meals.
I've actually seen photos of Rolly wearing a waist trainer to keep the size of his waist down.
A lot of the guys are doing
Keep
that now,
Charles switch,
which is
please.
interesting.
You know what? It
New
doesn't
trend.
hurt.
Doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. Yeah. I mean, listen, if it does 5%, great. You know.
Gentlemen, quarter turn right.
The one big thing that the guys need to keep conscious, and obviously we saw, at the last Olympia, how they're really marking down the midsections now.
Quarter turn.
Is in the transitions, because it's easy to remember to keep your midsection tight while you're hitting a pose, but in between poses,
Quarter turn.
if it slips your mind for a minute, that's a big problem.
Oh, trust me, I've been on that pro stage with those comparisons getting called out.
Oh,
you
yeah.
start sucking wind
Face front.
after about the third or fourth round of mandatories out there, and you better be in shape, and you better be, that's if you're going to let it go, that's
Front
where it's
double
going to go.
bicep.
Especially in those back poses when you think no one's looking, you let it hang out.
Yeah, Aaron's exactly right. It's in the transitions that you really got to pay
Front
attention.
lat
But
spread.
look at the physique on Akeem Williams. Now, out of these four guys, there are obviously four guys in four different times of their career. But Akeem Williams has all the attributes, man. He's got the muscle.
Side
He's
chest.
got the shape. He's just got to find a way to get that skin thin. And I tell you what, this guy be winning some titles and beating some people.
He's got something like that hanging muscle, that you rarely see, especially for the lats from the front, kind of Ronnie Coleman-esque.
Back double bicep.
Tell you what, it's a game of inches, man. I mean, he's not. Look at that shot right there. Look at that shot of Akeem Williams. That's up there with anybody.
Yeah.
He just has to bring it down. But you can also
Back
see
lat
those little
spread.
folds in the skin, Nick. About
Yeah.
halfway up that back. That's your difference.
That's that film I was talking about.
I don't think we've ever seen Akeem without the film. So
No.
I've never seen him. Like I said originally, this is about as good as
Side
He
tricep.
was
Akeem
up
we've
pretty
seen.
good in, was it Tampa last year? I think it was, where he really brought it out there. And that's the closest I've seen him come to 100% conditioning. But he's got to find a formula that works. The one thing you need in the pro league is
Abdominals
consistency.
and thighs.
And that's where a Bonac really comes out head and shoulders above the rest, where you've never seen Bonac out of shape.
No.
Your favorite, most muscular. Thank you, gentlemen. Back in line, please. Luke, Rolly, Cedric, and Steve.
All right, now here's where the call-outs start to get interesting, is when they come back around. All right, so he went through the lineup once, and if you're going to see any changes, this is where they're going to be, right here.
So they're trying to round out the top six here.
Well, you'll notice that the only
Gentlemen,
two guys
spread
that
out a
ain't
little
up
and get
there
a front double bicep.
is
Top two.
out of the top six is Bonac and, of course, Brandon Currie. So this is for 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Front lat spread.
Now, he may move some guys around. If these guys stay like this, what you're looking at is probably Cedric 3rd, Luke 4th, Coock Low
Side
5th,
chest.
and really 6th. I'll tell you what, if Steve Coock Low's got a chance to move himself up, this is it right here.
Yep.
He's right next to Cedric. He can make his mark
Back
right
double
here. He
bicep.
looks like he's getting a little bit sharper as he goes.
And Rolly seems to be doing the opposite.
Yes, Rulli is definitely spilling over. And again, hats off to Luke Sandow, man. I got to tell you, his conditioning, again, started off good, and it's only gotten better as he's gone on. So good for him.
He's looking very crisp here in his back double bicep. Certainly the best condition of anybody up there in this call out.
Back
That
lat
shape on
spread.
Cedric McMillan. I tell you, talk about God-given talent. You know, you talk about, and that's not to take away from his work ethic, but man, you talk about genetics. Look at that physique on Cedric.
Yeah, well, it speaks to the genetics and his capabilities if he does place third here in this lineup.
Side tricep. Abdominals and thighs.
Aaron, Luke's one of your athletes. How pleased is he right now to be in this position?
He's the happiest guy on the stage. There's no doubt about that. You know, he will be thrilled with fourth, thrilled with fifth, and ecstatic with third. So no matter how he ends up here, he's going to be happy.
Your favorite, most muscular.
When I went and saw him backstage, Bob, the big thing he said was he had so much fun.
That's what he said to me, too.
Well, any of us that know Luke, he's a ball buster, man. I mean, he loves to just joke around and have fun. I mean, he's never too serious, you know. But I think that's good. I think it keeps him loose. You know, he doesn't get too tense
Brandon and
William. Fired up. And Cedric is much the same way. I mean, Cedric's a jokester, man.
Yeah, he's having fun.
All right, here we go. Now, you know what this means. I mean, this is down to these two guys.
Gentlemen, switch sides, please.
And both these guys, make no mistake, both these guys know right now this is for the title. They know it.
Yeah,
the fans know it, and the judges know it. You know, to me, that's the difference right there in that front pose, Nick. The waist. That's the first thing my eye is drawn to is that Brandon Currie's waist.
And that V-taper.
Look at that shot right there. Look at that V-taper compared to William.
Yeah, Brandon is a bigger guy, a heavier guy with a smaller waist.
Yeah.
So.
And I think his conditioning might be slightly better than Bonak's here.
Well, again, another good observation. You can see. Look at the legs. Just
the
key
lower
in on
body,
the thighs between these two guys. Don't look at anything else. Just that. That tells you everything you need to know about conditioning. This shot's about even for these guys. You can see the thickness on William. You can see the thickness on Brandon. But look at the side of the thigh. Once again, that's your margin. Brandon Currie is 10% sharper than William Bonak. Now, this is what negates everything we just said. Okay, because you're going to get to this point, and guess what? William's got one of the best backs in the world.
He's like a mini Kai Green.
Yeah.
The thing about Williams' back too is that he has details that other people just don't have. You know,
just thickness. It's just thick muscle. And listen, at the end of the day, it's still a muscle contest.
He has those lower lat striations, like the mini Kai Green, as you said. Yeah.
That's a pose right there that Brandon Currie has worked very hard on bringing up over the years, and it has paid off in dividends right here because he's hanging.
Yep.
He's hanging with William.
Side tricep.
Now, you're going to see a big difference right here. Look at the waistlines.
Yep.
I'd give this pose to Brandon.
Oh, all day.
Yeah.
All day long.
Abdominals and thighs.
And you're going to give this pose to Brandon right here. So. Now, William knows he's basically going to get beat in this pose. If he's a smart guy, he'll get out of that quick. Oh, there he goes. See? That's a veteran right there. Get to the side. Show him your serratus. Do not go heads up with Brandon Currie.
And Brandon's right there with him.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon can do whatever he wants. You know what I mean? Listen, that waist. You can hear the fans getting into it now, cheering for their favorites. This is where it gets fun, Aaron.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Is it William?
Gentlemen, relax.
Brandon sure does look sharp
Take
right now.
2 steps back. Another step. Hit a front double bicep, please.
You can tell it's close because Big Steve just doesn't keep going for no good reason.
Yep.
So this isn't about just giving the fans a good show. I mean, it is that close between these two guys.
Face the statue and hit a back double bicep.
man, it is so close with these two guys. Just two different physiques completely. But that, to me, solidifies it, Aaron. I mean, that shot right there, look at the difference just in the taper and the waistline.
Yep.
And listen, it's not like Brandon's giving up a whole lot of muscle here.
Yep. And I think the small waist also creates the illusion that Brandon's a little bit wider than Bonac, too.
It does, and they're probably the same width, or maybe Bonac's even a little wider, but you're right, Nick. It's all about illusion. I mean, that's the only thing that matters on stage. Smoke and mirrors.
Yep.
Your favorite
If you
most
actually
muscular?
count the shots and who's winning what shot, it looks like Brandon is ahead by 2. He said he certainly had the abs, hand over head abdominal. He certainly had
Last pose,
the side
gentlemen, hit
tricep,
it.
even on the side chest. What do you think here?
Look at the muscle right here in this angle of William Bonac. That's crazy.
Thank you, gentlemen. This concludes prejudging. Back to you, Tony.
Steve, you guys are doing an amazing job, but there's
working
one
the crowd
more
a
thing
little
that we
bit,
have to
haven't
That's
do.
your call, Tony.
Guys, come forward, because I think the audience wants to see this. Everybody come to the front of the stage. Mr. Music, let's light it up, because we're going to pose down.
All right, Tony Doherty saying the magic words. Gentlemen, pose down. Now, the judging at this point is done. All right, the pose down is a great opportunity for the fans. You know, these guys horse around a little bit, have some fun, play it up. I'm sure Arnold will be down there in 2 seconds, Snapchatting away. But right now, they're tallying the scores. Right now, you're handing down your score of who you won. And this comes down to preponderance of the scoring. Okay, highs and lows are thrown out to ensure that the judging is fair.
Right.
Okay, so, you know.
So any outlier gets kicked out.
That's
so
right.
You only have the people in the middle, basically.
Yeah, let's just say, you know, you just didn't like William Bonac, okay, for whatever good reason. And you go, you know what, I'm going to put him in 6th place. Well, listen, you can do that as a judge. You're probably not going to be a judge very long.
No.
Because clearly you're out of your mind. But that 6 is going to get thrown out because it's a low. And vice versa. Now, listen, you can have a whole bunch of ones on there, let's say half the panel. One of those is going to get thrown out. But it ensures integrity across the judging panel. And we do this for a reason in the Pro League, and that's to ensure that you can't do anything funky, you can't do anything weird. Now, listen, these are the best judges in the world right here. See our good buddy Dan Solomon down there in the front row. Dan headlining things for the Olympia this year, so big shout out to Dan.
The guys are all going down, making this exciting for all the people in the audience.
This is
here.
always fun for the fans.
They love it.
Nick, in the past, you were actually down there with these guys coming
Many years.
You know, the one thing that's cool for the fans to see is how big these guys actually are.
Yeah.
Because on stage is one thing. It's an illusion, there's lighting, but when somebody's right there in front of you, you can see how thick and how big and massive that these guys are.
I can still remember seeing Dennis Wolf for the first time in the pump-up room backstage and just seeing how big he was in person. It was just like, you don't realize how big they are when you see them in the magazines. You see Dennis Wolf in person, he's crazy.
Oh, there's the Terminator. Look at,
with his sunglasses
surprised
on.
you don't have the leather jacket on. Come with me if you want to live. All right, well, these guys are going to be ramping up into the audience here. Hopefully one of them doesn't sneak off into the food court. I'm pretty sure they're pretty hungry right now. But all right, time for predictions, boys. All right, Aaron, you had your original prediction. You've now seen the night show. You've seen the comparisons. You've seen the pose down. And, of course, the inevitable one-on-one between Currie and Bonac. You still sticking with your pick, or are you coming to my side?
No, I suppose I'm coming to your side, Bob. I suppose I'm coming to your side.
Aaron is wise, my friend.
He solidified it. Brandon Currie solidified it for sure tonight. And where I was unsure this morning, I think tonight he was pretty solid. I think he's going to get all ones, and I think he's going to take it tonight.
All right, Nick, are you still on board, or are you going to the dark side?
I'm sticking with Brandon. I think Brandon's going to take it.
Open Pro
I think honestly, Bob, the biggest difference between our predictions and what actually looks like it's going to happen is Cedric McMillan surprising us.
He's a wild card. Now, make no mistake. I mean, any of those guys could have moved up. I think you could kind of flip a coin between Luke Sandow and Cedric McMillan, probably for that 3rd and 4th slot. But it's not going any other way but 1 and 2 between Currie and Bonac.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Can you return to the stage? Ladies and gentlemen, take your seats, because there's plenty much more to come. Correction, Mikhail, who's about to walk up.
There he is, your champion, the 2007 Arnold Classic bodybuilding champion, Victor Martinez.
Was second here last year by this much. He's about 6'2", about 280 pounds. Let's welcome Cedric McMillan. Our final competitor is one of the fastest rising stars in the industry. He's making his first appearance here in Columbus. From the Netherlands, let's welcome William Bonac. ...2018 Arnold Classic champion, William Bonac.
Brian, how did you get into strongman competitions?
I got into them completely for fun, actually. I played basketball through college and went into being a strength coach, and that kind of led me to strongman in a way, and I needed another competitive outlet for myself, something where I was big and strong and I enjoyed training, so it seemed like a perfect fit.
How long have you been doing strongman competitions, and how did you get involved in them?
This is my 9th year. I got
Hard to believe it's been a year
involved.
since you've been in the winner's circle, man, but you got a battle out there.
Yeah, I do got a bit out there, you know. Brendan has improved much, you know, but still I feel confident about what you brought, you know, and I feel even that we brought a better package than last year, you know, so I think this is one of my best package ever. So I'm happy with it, you know, me and my coach.
Well, Big Steve certainly gave you guys an opportunity. I mean, he put you in, he mixed you up, he spun you around about 4 times. I know you're dying out there when that's going on, but I tell you what, I'd rather get the comparisons than not.
Yeah, so, you know, so people can honestly give their opinion, you understand? So, yeah, I believe it's a good thing, you know, to give each other the chances, you know, to challenge each other.
Now, even though you and Brandon are competitors out there, you can tell there's a very, well, not just a difference, but I was going to say a mutual respect. Like you say, you guys are battling, but man, you can see you're also having some fun out there too.
We have to, man, you know, because it's war on stage, you know, but outside of that, you know, we're just humans, you know, we got the same passion, understand, so we know what we feel, you know, we know what we go through, you know, so we respect each other for that, you know, because it's not easy to come here and stand on stage, you know, battle the best of the world, you understand, so I respect any athlete who comes here and who, you know, battle, even if he's out of the top 10, it doesn't matter, you know, even the effort that you put into it, the 14 weeks prep, you know, it's tough, man, you know, so. Well,
you hit on the other point I was going to bring up. You guys are apples and oranges, man. I mean, you don't have anything in common. Like I say, you know, you got the thick, powerful, muscular physique. He's got the more streamlined, you know, with the tiny waist and all that. But it makes an interesting dilemma for the judges, of course, because they got to kind of pick one way or the other here. You both bring things to the table. So it's interesting because you can kind of go back and forth between you guys. But you got a gut feeling William's going to go your way tonight?
The way I saw the pictures, you know, and the way I saw, you know, the way we both look, you know, I would pick myself.
Of course,
yeah.
As you should, my friend.
Not, if it wasn't like that, I wouldn't pick myself, you know, so in that case, I would have picked myself, you know, but yes, it's of course up to the judges, you know.
Now, we're at the beginning of the season, obviously, the Arnold Classic kicking things off for the 2019 season, and you seem to like to compete. You seem to get better as you go throughout. What's the rest of the schedule looking at? Are you guys going to be in Australia in a couple of weeks?
Yes, we're going to first go to New Zealand, got a guest posting over there, and from there we go to Melbourne, Arnold Classic Australia.
All right, William, best of luck here later on tonight as we'll see who the winner is. We'll see if the champ repeats and is a two-time Arnold Classic champion.
Thank you, brother.
Best of luck, William.
Thank you both.
All right. All right, continuing coverage here at the Arnold Classic. Bikini coming up next, my favorite division. So you've seen the beast, now you're going to see the beauty.
And people love it. They've got huge followings. And they work just as hard as any of the other divisions. We've got these great smiles and these great figures, and it really has taken the world by storm. We've got the best lineup we've ever had here in Columbus, Ohio, ladies and gentlemen. So let's meet the ladies competing in their final round of the competition. First, from Brazil, Alicia Puccini.
need, in numerical order, I need 1, Alicia Puccini. I need 2, Ashley Kaltwasser. I need 6, Jennifer Dory. I need 7, Janet Leo. 8, Marcia Conclaves. And 12, Lorelei Chapados. The 2 and 6 to switch. And I can't see everybody's number, so I need Marcia and Isa to switch. Okay, ladies, do a 180, face that back wall. And now you can do what we couldn't do this morning. Walk halfway back and hold it when you get there. Now face forward and walk it back. Ladies, I need Isa and Ashley to switch. Isa and Ashley, switch. One more time, do a 180, face that back wall. And face forward. Okay, ladies, thank you very much. You take a step back to either side. I need 4, Ashley Janelle. 11, Frida Paulson Stern. 10, Krista Bellina, Tories. 13, Monica Ellis. 14, Brina Martinez. 17, Camille Perriot. Okay, Janelle and Camille switch. Now do a 180, face that back wall. Now walk halfway back and hold it when you get there. Face forward and walk it back. Okay, thank you very much, ladies. Take a step back to either side. I need 3, Kim Gutierrez. 5, Rafaela Malegras. 9, Sonia Lewis. 15, Eli Fernandez. 16, Karina. And 18, Jessica Palmer. Okay, ladies, do a 180, face that back wall. Now walk halfway back and hold it when you get there. Now face forward and walk it back. Okay, thank you very much, ladies. You can take a step back to either side. That concludes our confirmation round. Back to you, Tony.
We're done?
Yes, I said that concludes the confirmation. I'm sorry, Tim.
Thank you, Sandy. All right, we'll ask all of our bikini athletes to exit on that side of the stage and congratulate every single one of them for being in such amazing shape for you tonight. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, the Arnold Sports Festival here in Columbus welcomes lots of new athletes every year. And we had a record-breaking amount of athletes compete in our NPC Worldwide Amateur Bodybuilding competitions for the chance to win their pro cards. 700 plus. And they've all been judged, and we have our winners. And our new pros, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to introduce them to you, and remember their names, because some of them will be up here next year. Our Masters Figure Overall, Sissy Jola. Our Masters Bikini Overall, Paula Eileen. Our Men's Bodybuilding Overall Champion, Morgan Asti. Fitness Overall, Hayley Lizenba. Our Bikini Overall, Crystal Medina. Men's Physique winner, Eric Lisboa. And our Women's Physique winner, Catherine McLaurin. Take a bow, guys, and congratulations on your achievements. That's it. Back to the gym. Now we have our men's physique competition. And this is a new way of doing it. It was new to the Arnold Sports Festival in 2015, and it grew and grew and grew to the point we had so many go in it. So we made a rule that you had to be in the top 10 in one of the pro shows around the world to qualify to do an Arnold Classic. And they kept growing more and more. So we've got them here tonight, our top 6 after all the judging over the weekend. And our first competitor is from Texas, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Logan Franklin. From Pittsburgh, welcome Raymond Edmonds. Thank you, Raymond. You're going to love this, ladies and gentlemen, because he's from Columbus, Ohio, USA, George Brown. From California, San Diego, welcome Kyron Holden. Welcome back to the physique division from New York, Sadiq Hadzovic. Thank you, Sadiq. From New York, Andre Ferguson. Thank you, Andre. Then we're going to hand it over to the judges again for their confirmation round. Over to you, Steve.
Thank you, Tony.
Fremont and George, switch, please. Andre, come in the middle of them, please. Right there. Logan and George, switch, please. Gentlemen, feet together, face the judges. Face the curtain. Face front. Thank you, gentlemen. This concludes our confirmation round. Back to you, Tony.
That's our physique division. They're in great shape again. They keep getting better and better. And of course, the physique round is the other round that's taken the world by storm. With that and the bikini, it's really made bodybuilding alive again. Because these bodies are achievable. Somebody can be working out in the gym and think, well, if I trained hard for a year or two, I could get the board shorts or the bikini and get up and compete and show all the hard work I've done. And then we find they graduate from there into the other divisions. The classic physique, which we had last night, was a great new division where the height and weight are limited, so you can't be so much bigger than the other guys and you don't get all the mass monsters. We keep that for the pro bodybuilding. So there's all these new categories that's made it so much more achievable. And these categories have all got great new fan bases, which are bringing more and more people into the sport, and of course into the Arnold Classic here in Columbus. The next thing we love, the Arnold Classic, is Strongman, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Our event, check this out. Our event is now the biggest money Strongman show in the world, bar none. It's moved ahead of anything else that was in the market. We now have a qualifying series right around the world. We're starting in 2 weeks in Melbourne. They can qualify to be here in Columbus. And every one of them has to do one of the smaller shows or one of the other Arnolds to qualify. In fact, Arnold himself just hosted a fantastic event a few weeks ago in Santa Monica. And they closed the whole pier off and set up all this strongman equipment on Santa Monica Pier, the historical site and the home of Muscle Beach. And the media came. It was the most incredible thing you've ever seen. It was packed. And that put our Strongman event in front of thousands more new fans. And they loved it. And here at the Arnold Classic this weekend, we've had the most phenomenal Strongman competition. We're going to meet some of the previous winners, and we're going to have an event on stage today, and we're going to light this place up. But I don't know how many of you are at the expo that saw what we called the Wheel of Pain. Anybody see the Wheel of Pain? Wow. This is ridiculous. It's 20,000 pounds of pressure to push that thing around. It's like a replica from the first Conan movie. And they spent months and months making it. It really is the most incredible piece of equipment any of us has ever seen. And of course, all the guys in our crew and everyone tried to push it. And you can move it like about a metre or a yard. And then the sand in the barrel starts to roll against you, and then it pushes you back. So you think you're winning for just a second, then you're crushed. And then the strongmen come in, and they were doing laps with it like you wouldn't believe. So these guys really are huge, and they're strong. Now we're going to bring on some of our former champions, and to introduce them, please welcome our strongman hosts, Matt Eisman and Mark Henry.
Well, I'm coming out here first. I'm Matt Eisman. I'm the host of American Ninja Warrior. What are you doing? Don't you want your proper introduction? Well, I kind of spoiled it. So what we're doing this year, to honor the great Terry Todd, we have assembled every previous winner of the Arnold Sports Classic Strongman Championship. We have the greatest strongmen in history, and you saw the first one. The man who won the inaugural
Arnold Strongman back in 2002. He's been my co-host all weekend. He's the WWE Hall of Fame. Twice he represented America, going to the Olympics as a U.S. weightlifter. And he is on stage with me all night long. Give it up for my man, the legendary Mark Henry. Next up, I know, you belong out here. Next up, this man didn't win it once, he didn't win it twice. He won it 8 times. He is one of the greatest strongmen in history, Zydrunas Savickas. A legendary American. You've heard this name so long. He's here with his daughter, and he's been having a tremendous time. Let him hear it, ladies and gentlemen, Derek Poundstone. Talk about an appropriate last name. And then a man who's won it 3 times. This year is his 10th time competing for you people. He's one of the great champions. He's from my home state of Colorado. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Shaw! Now, unfortunately, there is one champion who can't be with us. He passed away, but we'd still love you all to honor his memory. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Jenkins. And last night, if you were here, what I love about these strongmen is the support, because the governor brought out Miles Taylor, a kid with cerebral palsy, to do some lifts. Now, helping him load the weights were Mark Henry and this other champion, Vytautas Lalas, truly embodying the spirit of strongman. And the final champion here, the man who in just a few minutes will be competing for another title. He is one of the strongest men in history. He's known as the Mountain. From Iceland, welcome, Hafthor Julius Björnsson! These are the strongmen champions throughout history. 2 of them will be competing tonight, but we have a little video that shows you just what this is all about. Please take a look.
Are you ready for the strongest men in the world? They're the biggest, the baddest, one of the most athletic big men on the planet will be competing here today. And we are looking forward to a show. Impressive.
Heine didn't break a sweat there.
Boom! Like nothing.
A strong first lift out of Brian Shaw. A record-breaking lift on the line for the Mountain.
Yes! And like nothing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. This is the Husafell Stone Currie.
And he did it!
First place.
ladies and gentlemen. That was just a little bit. Hello, there we go. So you've seen it. We have had 4 remarkable events. These athletes, Mark, they've been putting their blood and sweat and tears into it. These guys have been pouring everything into these, and I think one of the highlights was the Wheel of Pain. Just seeing the effort in there and seeing Novikov, this rookie, who last year was an amateur and now is competing with the big boys, have such strong performance.
Normally, the rookies tend to kind of know their role, kind of step back and, wait their turn, but he didn't get the memo.
So, after 4 events, the man in the lead is the Mountain. Thor Pearson is in first place with 37.5 points. In second place, Martins Lisis with 31.5. And in third place, the oldest man in the competition, 38 years old, the Siberian Force, Mikhail Shivlyakov. Now, we are getting ready for the stone to shoulder. And you can see the man right there handling it. It's Ode Hagen. He is a legend in strongman. This is known as Ode Hagen's tombstone. And this thing weighs 410 pounds. The goal for these athletes is to lift it up, get it into your lap, from there, get it onto your shoulder. And Mark, you've done this. It's not enough to hold it on the shoulder. You have to remove it, control it with one hand. So we need to see the left hand out. You'll watch the judges. If the judges don't give a down signal, that means the stone was not controlled. They won't get full credit. And Mark, with 410 pounds, it's almost impossible to control that stone.
Well, the really impossible thing about it is it's an oblong shape. There's no handles on it, so it's not like you can get a really fixed grip. You got to find a position that's comfortable for you, and each guy is different. Some guys like to really pull it close to them and pull, and then there's other guys that try to just throw it up on their shoulder, which is really hard to do, and you'll see that in a few minutes.
Now, one of the cool things is one of our great sponsors is from right here in Columbus, Ohio. Let's give them a round of applause for Rogue Fitness. They have been doing just about everything in this contest. But let me ask you folks, do you guys enjoy seeing history made? Let me ask you again, do you enjoy seeing history made? Because Rogue Fitness does. They want history to be made tonight on this stage. And right now, the record mark in this event is 4 reps of the stone to the shoulder. But if someone can do 5, Rogue's going big.
Well, at the last championships in California, we had 2 guys that repped it out like it was nobody's business. So I'm looking forward to seeing those 2 guys because they're fresher.
They're fresher.
They did not have the year that everybody else did, so let's see what happens.
So here's the deal. This stone is 410 pounds. If someone manages to get 5 reps in 2.5 minutes, they have 2.5 minutes once they start manipulating this stone. 5 reps, and they will win $5,000 for making history. So are you ready? No way, we are not ready. I'm ready.
Arnold's ready.
Told
that is a real stone.
Are you ready? Wait, Governor, are you ready? Governor, do you want to come lift the stone? Governor, the Terminator, this stone could be the history stone. Do it now, he said. Well, let me check with our athletes. Are our athletes ready?
Get to the chopper.
Did somebody actually give him a microphone? Please turn that thing off. I'm just out here checking. We're making sure these athletes are ready. Oh, we don't have referees out, so we are not ready to lift. Let's introduce our Ode Hagen, ladies and gentlemen, the man who came up with this stone. Ode Hagen, one of our judges here.
He did that on purpose.
Did you just drag me with the chair? I have been getting heckled by this man all weekend just because he's a 4-time world strongman, the man who introduced most of us to this sport. Ladies and gentlemen, Magnus for Magnuson!
And my idol.
And our third judge, Carl Gillingham, a legend in the powerlifting community. Now, Magnus is going to let us know with his arm. When his arm drops, that means it's a clean rep. If it doesn't go down, that will not be a full 4 points. You get 1 point getting the stone to your lap. You get 2 points if you can get the stone onto your torso, but you have to control it. Magnus has to have the arm down for the full 4 points.
And
now,
you get
with
4 points when you get it to shoulder. And once you get it to shoulder, 4 points supersedes everything else. The 2 point and the 1 point doesn't count. If you get it to your chest and get the 2 point, the 1 point is negated.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the rookie I was talking about. Last year, he won the amateur contest, and he won the right to be here on this stage. He has been turning in phenomenal performances, taking second in the Husafel Stone Carry, taking second in the Wheel of Pain. He had to go to the hospital to be evaluated, clean bill of health, and he wanted to come back and compete for you people here tonight. Are you guys ready to see him? Let me say it again. These athletes feed off your energy. So ladies and gentlemen, let's make him energetic. Alexei Novikov.
As you can see, he's kind of filling it out, seeing where he's going to take a handhold. Every guy's going to be, his handhold is going to be different. He's putting a little tack on his hands, take the sweat off. It makes it a little bit sticky, but it's not overly goopy like the old style. All right, he's ready to go. He's asking for you to back him.
You can see that's 1 point lapping the stone right there. Now comes the struggle. This kid just 300 pounds. This stone 410 pounds. Fighting to get it to his shoulder. You want to see it get up? So he got 2 points there for getting it to the torso. You cannot repeat that though. That is 2 points. The only way to get more points now, to get it onto the shoulder and to control it.
And this is learning on the fly. It's not like driving where you have a manual. This is something that you have to experience multiple times, and him being young and new, it's going to take a little while for him to get this done.
And the mouth guard is out.
You
He's
can
getting
help
down to
him.
business. Here we go. Alexei Novikov. Got it up.
Bounce it. There you go. Don't worry about the floor, ladies and gentlemen. It's heavily constructed. Rogue makes the best equipment in the world. Steve Slater and his team have put this together, and we have not had it roll out to the floor yet.
Just under 1
Just
minute
saying.
with this 410-pound stone. Having the workers.
Still has 45 seconds left.
And you can see the battle with this stone. The heft and the difficulty controlling it. Clock ticking down, 30 seconds left for Alexei Novikov. This rookie from Ukraine. The man with the colorful socks going for a big lift here. Round of applause for Alexei Novikov.
Let's hear it for him.
A phenomenal effort in his rookie campaign.
One of the better techniques of handling this stone is to put it on his end at the highest point. And that was something that he'll learn in the future, and the guys were not going to tell him tonight.
Well, you can see the difficulty in getting this stone up. Now, last year, only a couple of the athletes were actually able to get it to the shoulder and control it. That's how hard it is. But next up, this guy from Slovenia, two-time Slovenia's strongest man. And he is ready. Ladies and gentlemen, let him hear it. Matjaž.
Wait till you get a load of him.
Matjaž Belšak. Going for this 410-pound Oblong and tombstone. Clock has started. Got it on the lap. That's up. Got it. You can see him fighting it on the shoulder. Got it. That's
and that's one.
And Belshak is fired up. How do you guys feel about that? That's 4 points there for Belshak. He's getting fired up. 1:48 left. This big guy from Slovenia.
You see the strategy of him putting the smooth side to the floor, which is a little bit unorthodox. The round side, he wants to put on his shoulder. So he's trying to pull it to him so he can get the round side on his shoulder. It makes it an easier roll to the shoulder. If you can say easy. Wrong choice of words.
You think he's got another lift in him, folks? Belshak. He's regrouping.
He's got 1 minute.
He is lifting more than a refrigerator here. 410 pounds. Still has 30 seconds left. Can get points for lapping it. He is going to take every second, leave every ounce of strength on this floor for you people.
There's a reason that you saved the hardest things for last.
15 seconds. Mariusz Belshak got the 1 rep, 4 points, a tremendous effort.
That is one strong human being. The way that he lapped, the way that he got the shoulder at first lift. Talking to Og said he had never seen anybody lift it that style.
We just had an update. One of our previous champions had injured himself. He's out, Brian Shaw. So up next, the Polish powerhouse, the man who holds the record in this event, 4 times to the shoulder, Mateusz Kieliszkowski.
Mateusz should be looked at as somebody that does magic because he makes it look so easy.
He was the only one who got multiple reps. Look at this. That's 1. Over 2 minutes left. You think we're going to see history here? Kieliszkowski, this is his event. Look at that, how easily he lifts that stone. Oh my! 2! We can feel the entire floor moving when he drops that stone. 2 reps, still 1:30 left to go.
You notice he puts the flat side to his body. So once he gets a handhold and he easily pulls it to a lap position, the stone tends to roll to his shoulder.
A minute left.
He's still got a minute left.
Are we sensing something great here?
You are seeing something that is not average, even for the strongman. This is superior strength and a level of detail that we haven't seen in a long time.
52 seconds left for 2 reps for history. Looking to break his own record. You want to see it? Let him hear it. Let him hear it. 30 seconds left. They're going to reposition this down. Get on your feet. Everybody up. This is history right
This
here.
is not normal.
20 seconds.
Why are you sitting?
20 seconds. You got this, Martinez. You got this, big guy. 15 seconds. Let's do it. Come on. 10 seconds. You got it. Let's go, Martinez.
Ladies and gentlemen, rise to your feet. One of the greatest lifting exhibitions ever done.
He got that with 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. You helped him do it.
With 1 second left to spare.
Oh my! We've been saying it all weekend. Are you not entertained? 5 reps. He has the mark, but keep in mind, a couple more athletes get their shot. Right now, from Estonia, Arnold Heinla.
Matt, I know we're supposed to maintain a level of professionalism, but I fanned out for just a second, second.
Let's see if Heinla has it in him, folks. Heinla been so strong this competition. And you can see 410 pounds. It looked easy. It is so hard. Hagen offering some advice.
It's very difficult to lift away from the flat side.
Now, if he doesn't get it up to his lap in 60 seconds, the time will be called. That's what Magnus is looking. A great effort out of Heinlein.
Great effort.
So now, we're down to the top 3 competitors in the standings right now. Up first, out of Russia, you'll recognize his trademark, black beret. A beret here is a member of the Special Forces. This guy, the oldest man in the competition, 38 years of age, but he has been wowing us all weekend long. Ladies and gentlemen, Mikhail Shivlyakov.
Old in a lot of sports means you're done. Old in the strongman game means you're experienced, you're seasoned, you understand what needs to happen and how it needs to happen. And this guy definitely knows how to get it done.
And so, Mark, right now they're putting a little tacky cloth on there for grip. Those shirts provided by Rogue have a little extra grip as well.
The time is not on the clock.
What do you say? Why don't we make a Russian feel welcome, ladies and gentlemen? Give it up for Shivlyakov. Hagen offering tips. 30 seconds left to get this stone in the air.
This is the 5th event.
And that's it. 60 seconds to get it up. So what they're explaining to him is you have 1 minute to get the stone up into the lap. Failing that, your time is up. Unfortunately for Shivlyakov, a Great effort. And now, it's time for the man. Kalishkovsky has the record. This man matched him in Santa Monica. Currie in second place, known as the Dragon, for the fire in his belly. Ladies and gentlemen, he has a shot to win this entire thing. Martinez Lises.
Martinez has an unbelievable energy level. One of the few guys that I've just become a real strong fan of. Also makes things look really easy.
Oh my, that's one. Now once again, in Santa Monica, he won the Arnold competition, doing an Atlas Stone 5 times. That was 375. Can he do it here with this big stone? Got it up, and look at that power. That's 2, watch it, watch it. Okay, Arnold.
I told you that was the first time, that it had never been done, but it didn't mean that it would not happen. How they're gonna get it back up here is beyond me. No, I'm not helping.
So these guys are working on it.
Unfortunate for him, the clock is still running. I'm sorry, I just report the news.
1 minute 2 left. Wait. Just wait, do you want to stop? Okay. Give him some energy, folks. Let him hear it. So we just got word. There is more time on the clock. The governor called it. Lises. Dragon, you got more.
Take your time. You got another minute.
Martinez. His hand is injured. What an effort, Martinez Lises.
I thought that Magnus was gonna stop it like the Matrix. He was gonna.
Yeah. Arnold, stay in your seat. The stone will get itself, okay? One more time for our head referee who narrowly averted disaster, Magnus for Magnuson. So this is it. There is one athlete left. He is the defending champion, and he is currently in first. Are you ready for the mountain? 6 feet 9 inches, 440 pounds from Iceland, Hafthor Julius Björnsson.
Arnold, I just want to let you know, you still got it. You was real quick out there, quick as a cat.
Here we go. Looking to seal up this contest.
Let's give it up, guys.
Björnsson fighting for grip. You can see that on his face. That stone trying to control it. Got it!
Hey, let's hear it for our spotters. Hafthor knows that he's already placed, that he's got a substantial amount of points.
Give it up.
And it's in the bag.
For the mountain, Hafthor Björnsson.
Can I ask you a question?
So,
What were you thinking running and trying to stop that?
Don't break. Don't break.
so with that, we're going to take a break. We're going to turn it back over to Tony. We'll be back with the results. I think you guys know what happened, but I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as we enjoyed being up here, even those in the front row who are still safe. One more time for all the strongmen this weekend. I'm Matt Eisman. Tony, take it away.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Mark. Now it's time to recognize a wonderful tradition that we have here at the Arnold Classic. It's time to honor the Arnold Classic Lifetime Achievement Award winner, which is Jan and Terry Todd. Please turn your attention to the video screens to watch this very special presentation. Thank you.
This year's Lifetime Achievement winners are Drs. Terry and Jan Todd, who together and individually made enormous contributions to the world of fitness and strength. They raised the public's understanding of the value of all forms of strength training through their personal lifting accomplishments, their books, numerous articles, and documentary films, as well as all they have done to preserve the history of strength sports. Dr. Terry Todd began as a tennis player, earning a college scholarship to play for UT Austin. In the summer after his high school graduation, he began training and then kept lifting in secret as he also played varsity tennis at UT. Although he was ranked #1 on the team by the end of his freshman year, his tennis coach kept telling Terry that lifting would make him muscle-bound, and so Terry quit the team in his junior year and focused his energy on competitive weightlifting. Terry won the Junior National Olympic Weightlifting Championship in 1963 and then switched to the new sport of powerlifting, winning the first men's national championships in 1964 and the first senior nationals in 1965. Over the course of his career, he would go on to set 15 world records in powerlifting and was the first to officially squat 700 pounds and to total 1,600, 1,700, 1,800, and 1,900 pounds. Terry was also one of the first people to write about the sport of powerlifting, and his insightful, dramatic articles in the Muscle magazines and later Sports Illustrated helped powerlifting develop its unique identity as a sport. In 1978, he also wrote the sport's first book, Inside Powerlifting, and in its introduction, the great powerlifter Larry Pacifico described Terry as an immortal in powerlifting, who stands on the elite plateau reserved for legends. He has been, wrote Larry, our guiding light and inspiration since powerlifting began. After finishing his PhD in 1966 with a dissertation on the history of weight training, Terry began teaching as a university professor while continuing to work as a journalist and sports promoter. In addition to his work for Sports Illustrated, Terry served as a broadcaster for both NBC and CBS, was involved in the early days of the World's Strongest Man contest, created and promoted the Strongest Man in Football contest for CBS for 3 years, and also opened the National Strength Research Center at Auburn University. Terry married Jan in 1973 after meeting her at Mercer University in Macon, Georgia. When Jan began weight training following their marriage, there were no women's powerlifting contests, no women's weightlifting contests, and no women's bodybuilding. However, she was intrigued by strength, and with coaching from Terry, decided to see if she could get in the Guinness Book of Records, as those were the only records that existed for women at that time. When Jan deadlifted 394.5 pounds in 1974 and made it into Guinness for the first time, she made that lift and the next several records that followed it only after getting permission to do exhibitions at men's meets, exhibitions that inspired other women to ask for the right to compete. She remained in the Guinness Book for the next 12 years, having set more than 60 world or American records in 5 bodyweight classes by the time she retired to begin her PhD studies. She was the first woman to total more than 1,000, 1,100, and 1,200 pounds, and her highest record set back in 1981 were 480 pounds in the deadlift, 545.5 pounds in the squat, and 1,229 pounds in the total. Often called the world's strongest woman in newspapers and magazines like Sports Illustrated and People, Jan also appeared on dozens of television shows during her lifting career, including Johnny Carson's Tonight Show.
Welcome, please, Jan Todd.
Powerlifting is a relatively new sport. There's only been men's competitions for about the last 15 years. The women's competitions are just getting started.
Jan also made significant contributions to the early development of women's powerlifting, writing the first draft of its rules, serving as head of both the American and International Women's Committees, and twice serving as national coach. She was also twice chosen as coach of the USPF men's team, making her the first woman to coach a men's team at a world championship in any strength sport. In 1978, Jan also became the first woman to lift the famous Denny Stones in Scotland, a feat no other woman would master for 40 years. In 1983, the Todds moved to Austin, Texas, where they began teaching at the University of Texas and began focusing more on encouraging academic interest on the history of the iron game. Their work has allowed the study of strongmen, weightlifting, bodybuilding, strength coaching, and other related fitness fields to become part of the academic canon for kinesiology departments and the field of sport history. They began publishing the highly influential academic journal, Iron Game History, the Journal of Physical Culture, in 1990. And together they've written more than 600 articles and 7 books on strength training and/or strength history. Jan Todd, now a full professor at UT Austin, is recognized as one of the most important sports historians in the world and runs a doctoral program focusing on the history of fitness and strength training that she created. The Todds' encyclopedic knowledge of history of the iron game also led them to begin making documentary films with Rogue Fitness about early legends like Eugen Sandow and George Hackenschmidt, and longer, critically successful films like Stoneland and Fulsticker, which can now be seen on Netflix and other media platforms. Perhaps the Todds' greatest achievement, however, has been establishing the Stark Center for Physical Culture and Sports to hold their vast collection of weight training materials and to make it available to the public. Located in a 30,000 square foot facility in the UT football stadium, the center contains more than 40,000 books, nearly every muscle magazine published in the English language, thousands of photographs, rare strongman posters from the turn of the 20th century, antique dumbbells and barbells, and artifacts and personal papers from dozens of important figures in our field, such as Louis Cyr, Warren Lincoln Travis, Joe and Betty Weeder, Pudgy Stockton, Eugen Sandow, Bob Hoffman, Tommy Kono, George Jowett, Chris Dickerson, Dr. Bob Goldman, Milo Steenborn, George Hackenschmidt, and many others. And last but certainly not least, in 2002, when Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jim Lorimer asked Terry to create a strongman contest for the Arnold Sports Festival, no one could have foreseen that he would come up with ideas that would totally transform the sport. The Arnold Strongman Classic, Terry envisioned, is the best test of true strength in the world of strongmen and is widely regarded as the most important contest in the sport. Jan co-directed the event with Terry until his death this past summer, and she took over the reins this year to make sure that the show continues as a fitting legacy to Terry and his vision. We congratulate Drs. Terry and Jan Todd on the lifetime dedicated to success in the world of fitness and strength. We are proud to honor both as the Lifetime Achievement Award recipients of 2019.
And join me in congratulating the recipient of this year's Lifetime Achievement Award, Jan Todd, and the award to be presented by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, every year we hand out this Arnold Schwarzenegger Lifetime Achievement Award, and we are so happy and so proud to hand it this year to Jan and to Terry Todd. Because as you have seen in that video, there is no one that has done more to promote the sport of powerlifting, weightlifting, bodybuilding, and strongman competition than this couple did. And it was absolutely extraordinary the kind of work that they've done to publicize, to promote it around the world. And so you have been really welcome to our family of the Arnold Achievement Award. Okay, so congratulations for the great work.
Thank you. You're actually going to hold that for me? That is awfully nice.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the kind welcome. Thank you, obviously, to Arnold and Jim and Bob Lorimer for doing this for us. This is obviously what I would have to say a somewhat bittersweet moment for me. The honor and pride that I feel tonight is, of course, tempered by the fact that Terry is not here to stand beside me. He should be. I think it would not be wrong to say that I think in many ways kind of, to me, an extraordinary life that we lived together and the various things that we accomplished, these were almost all inspired by the fact that Terry had what I would always refer to as a rather overactive imagination. Jim Lorimer and I used to talk about the fact that Terry was a visionary, and we would actually sort of joke about that. And as Jim knows, my job, Terry would think up the big ideas, and then my job was generally to come along behind him and kind of figure out how can we make these things work. And this was sometimes not always easy for me because Terry had no shortage of visions. And a lot of time, those visions came one after another, sort of like somebody else I know who's kind of standing right behind me here. And all of a sudden, you're tackling kind of multiple things simultaneously. Somehow, however, we were lucky in being able to make many of those dreams, many of his dreams, which of course became my dreams, somehow became real. And as those of you know who knew him personally, he was really quite extraordinary. Funny and witty and bright and compassionate. And there was nothing that he loved more than thinking about strength and talking about strength and being around the strongest people in the world. When I married Terry Todd 45 years ago, I could never have imagined a future at that time, this was 1973, in which I would one day be standing on a stage. Think about this. I'm standing on a stage with a former Mr. Olympia, who has also become the governor of California, and now he has become the champion for the environment, for voting rights, and for children. Our world has changed in our lifetimes. And nor could I have imagined that I would live in a world in which women would be able to lift a 165-pound dumbbell over their head, not just once, but twice. And we didn't have one woman do that today on the stage of the expo hall. We had two. And I certainly could not, at the age of 21, having grown up in the era before Title IX, when weight training was largely shunned by everybody, not just women, and when women like myself went to high schools and universities where we didn't play women's sports pretty much at all, let alone do weightlifting or bodybuilding, nor could I have imagined coming out of that early part of my life that I would one day count among my closest friends those noble giants who just competed on this stage. Men whose strength and courage inspires me to come back here year after year, even though, as you might imagine, most of my academic friends at the University of Texas don't really understand why I do this. But Terry did. Terry loved the fact that Jim Lorimer and Arnold had faith in his judgment and that they had given him a truly rare opportunity to create this unique contest, which we all know as the Arnold Classic. It is probably better to let others say whether this event has truly changed the world of strength, but I would note that if the social media is any indication of things this weekend, and no doubt Snapchatting is helping a little bit with this, it has at least created considerable excitement and interest in the sport of strongmen, and based on what I'm reading online, a lot of people have been very inspired by what happened here in Columbus. When this part of our life began and we did our first Arnold Classic in 2002, it obviously, and it wasn't a perfect success, but over the years we tried to live up to the model that Jim and Arnold embraced for themselves. And every year we tried to find ways to make it better. My aim, as I took on the task of directing the show this year, was to once again try to make the show unique and special. And I've been very lucky to have had working with me not only Steve Slater as my co-director, and his, of course, incredible stage crew, but all of the judges who have been so loyal to us through the years, and of course, most importantly, a truly incredible couple, Bill and Katie Henniger of Rogue Fitness, whose dedication to making our Strongman event special, and most importantly, for being my sounding board for ideas and events, has literally known no limits this year. I think if you saw it today, the building of the incredible Wheel of Pain, the recreation of the Husafell stone. Did you realize that they actually flew basalt all the way from Iceland so we could carve it and make an exact replica? No one else that I can imagine would have possibly done something so extraordinary for a simple strongman contest, except Rogue and the Hennigers. And I want to just say how very, very grateful I am to them, because they have allowed us to do something, I think, quite wonderful. And so in closing, let me just simply say how grateful I am to all of you for this great honor, to Arnold and to Jim and to Bob. And I want to, once again, or maybe I should say one last time, give Terry a chance to have the last words. I want to close with something that he used to say to me sometimes at the end of a long day, or when we'd had something that maybe wasn't going quite right, and you're sort of looking at each other as you're getting ready to go to bed, and you're wondering, you know, why do we do this? And he would sometimes say to me, you know, it's a good life if you don't weaken. And he never did. And neither should you. And so I thank you again. I am deeply honored, and I hope to see you all again next year.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Jen. Can we ask you and Arnold to move out into the center with your award? And we're going to ask all of our former champions to join in for a photograph. If you go to the middle of the stage now, and welcome back all of our former champions, Mark Henry. Here we go. Mark Henry, Zydrunas Savickas, Derek Poundstone, Brian Shaw, Vitalis Lalas, and Hep for Julius Bjornsson. And this award and photograph is in honor of Terry Todd and respect to Jan and Terry. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for all of our former champions with Arnold and Jan Todd. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, Mark Henry, I need you back over here. Mark, back to work. Let's welcome back Mark Henry and Matt Eisman for our Strongman Awards. Thank you, Matt.
How about that contest we saw with the Strongmen tonight, ladies and gentlemen? That was the final event, and what a way to finish it. So now, it's time to acknowledge all of our competitors. And we're gonna go in reverse order. So in 10th place, receiving a check for $2,000 from Rule 1 Proteins Rivalist, and Chris Kromek will be presenting that check. If Chris will come out. 10th place finisher, Jean-Francois Caron. We have the check? Who's getting that? All right.
And in 9th place, the check for $3,000 from Pure Protein, Robbie Fusco, and the winner is Jerry Pritchett.
In 8th place, receiving a check for $4,000 from Metrex, Taylor Creed will be presenting it. The 8th place finisher, the 3-time former champion, Brian Shaw.
And the 7th place check for $6,000 from Blackstone Labs, Philip Braun. The winner is Alexei Novikov.
Sixth place, receiving a check for $7,000 from Europa, presented by Justin Weeks. The winner is Rano Heinle.
And the 5th place check for $10,000 from Jan Tanner, and the winner is Matthias Belschock.
Fourth place, receiving a check for $12,000 from Optimum Nutrition, presented by Sarah Teeter. The winner, Mikhail Shivlyakov.
And the 3rd place check for $17,000 from the Columbus Dispatch, Erwin Yang, and the winner is Mateusz Kiliskowski.
And in 2nd place, receiving a check for $22,000 from Monster Energy Muscle Monster, presented by Natalie Eva Marie. And the winner is the man who almost killed the governor with the stone, Martins the Dragon Lises.
And the 1st place check for $72,000 from Midway Labs USA, Carol Zawiski. And the winner is Hafthor Julius Bierson.
And with the trophy, the governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And your Arnold Strongman winner, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson.
Hafthor, tell me now, what was the toughest of the disciplines today, or the last 2 days? Was it the wheel of pain, or was it the stone lifting out here, or the deadlift, or what was it?
Before I answer that, guys, I would like to start by saying this. Sorry, Arnold. I want to dedicate this, my title, to a guy that believed in me when I didn't, the great Terry Todd, in the memory of Terry Todd. Okay, so to answer your question, take it easy. What was probably hardest during this competition was definitely the 501 kilo deadlift that I tried but failed. Failing is never a good thing, but I gave it my all. Got up to my knees, but I wasn't able to finish the lift. But yeah, that was probably, the toughest lift of the weekend. But yes, the wheel of pain was a hell of a pain.
Now you know what I went through when I did Conan. But anyway, the other question that I had is, how do you balance between the strongman competition, the training for it and so on, and your acting career?
It's all about just, you have to have a great schedule and plan ahead. What I do, you just have to stay consistent, For example, with my meals, I always have meals ready, with me whenever I travel, and also make sure when I travel for acting that I have a training facility that I can train at, and so on, so on, so on. I make sure that I sleep with my CPAP. I have to sleep with the CPAP because I'm so big that I have a hard time breathing when I sleep because my chest is so big. So these small things, making sure I get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep every single night, and making sure that I finish my 6 meals every day are very important, not only the training.
And how many calories do you eat every day?
A lot.
So you don't want to say a number. Is it 10,000?
Yeah, it's roughly 10,000 calories. I eat a lot every day, a lot of steak and rice, some sweet potatoes, meat-wise, mostly steak.
Very nice. Write that down, okay, guys? And then what are you going to have for dinner tonight when this is all finished?
Steak and a potato.
Very nice. All right, let's give Hafthor a big hand for being a big star on the screen, the big star on the stage. Okay, hold on a second. Here, hold this.
Thank you, Arnold. Thank you, Thor. Now we're going to bring out our top 6 bikini finalists and present their awards. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Presenting our 6th place award, check for $1,000 and a trophy, Representing Blackstone Labs, PJ Braun, and from Medirex, Taylor Creed, and that goes to Lorelie Chapados. Thank you and congratulations. Presenting our next award for 5th place, check for $1,000, flowers, and a trophy from Rickard Automotive, Rickard, and from VPX, Phil Williams. And that goes to Marcia Congalvez. Thank you and congratulations. Our next award is $1,000. From Animal, we have Kendall Seawright, and from the Columbus Dispatch, Edwin Yang. And that goes to Jennifer Doherty. Thank you and congratulations. We have from Optimum Nutrition, Sarah Tita, and from Jantana, of course, Jantana, with a check for $2,000 and a trophy for 3rd place, and that goes to pause. We're back, and that goes to Ashley Coltwasser. Congratulations, Ashley. Thank you. And in 2nd place, check for $3,000 from Europa, we have Justin Weeks. From Allmax, Sarah Fowler. The winner of our 2nd place award is Alicia Puccini. Thank you and congratulations, Elisa. And a check for $7,000. From Midway Labs, we have Carol Zawodsky, and from Rogue Fitness, Steve Slater. And our 1st place winner and Arnold champion tonight is Janet Leug.
Well, Janet, congratulations. How does it feel winning?
Incredible. This moment means so much to me. This was my pro debut in 2014 and my 6th year competing consecutively here, so it means so much to me.
Terrific. Now let me ask you something. Come over here. Don't run away. How many calories do you eat every day?
Not as many as I want to.
Well, how many? Like 1,000?
You know, I don't really count calories that much, but if I had to guess, somewhere like 15 to 2,000. But depending on how hard you work, you may need more. So I like to work hard.
So what you're saying basically is that all of your girls together eat as many calories as half Thor does a day. That's wild if you think about it. So that's how you stay so lean. Do you exercise with weights?
Absolutely. Never be afraid to lift weights, women. Muscles are sexy, definitely.
Well, it sure does. Thank you very much and congratulations. Okay, let's have a big hand for Janet.
Can we have all of our finalists come to the center stage for a group picture, please? Girls, can you all come to the front?
All right, Bob Chick backstage, and we're here with the now two-time champ at the Arnold Classic Strongman, Hafthor. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much.
Tell me about this stone, man. I mean, this thing just looks impossible to pick up. Now, obviously, you were ahead in the point, so you didn't have to go crazy out there. But, you know, one time on the shoulders and up. But how awkward is that?
It's very awkward. It's the balance, you know. You have to have your grip at at one right position, you know. If you don't hold it correctly, the stone will make it very hard for you to lap it. So
it almost made its way into the second row of the audience off the stage on that one guy.
Yeah, it's also a dangerous stone, you know, almost killed people. But you know, it's a tough stone. I was leading with 6 points going into that event, the last event. I knew I only had to lap it, but I put it up to the shoulders for the people.
Now, for those who weren't watching, they recreated the wheel in the Conan movie. How tough was that? That thing looked brutal.
The Wheel of Pain event, that was real pain, you know. For a whole minute, we have to push the huge implement, and it's just, you know, it burns the thighs, burns everything, you know, just on fire. It's a real killer.
How heavy was that?
It's 20,000 pounds. It's incredible.
20,000 pounds. Now, usually, I mean, you guys have obviously done truck pulls and track, you know, and all that kind of crazy stuff, but that's a little bit different than this, wasn't it?
It is different, you know. We've never done an event like that before. We've pulled some sleds and stuff like that, but this is different, you know. They're inside a black big barrels. There is sand inside it, so when you push it, it actually wants to push you back because sand is moving inside, so it's moving like this, you know, like a wave. So it wants to, like, it's attacking you, you know. So it's like a constant pressure.
It looked brutal. I mean, obviously you guys are the strongest guys in the world, but records here to be broken, my friend. 2 years in a row now.
Yeah, that was good. You know, I'm super pleased with the elephant world record that I made this weekend. I tried 501 kilogram. Made it up to my knees. Then just, you know, I didn't have enough power. Actually, my left foot slipped a little bit. I think that might have, you know, caused something, but you know, I'm happy overall. You know, I did a world record. I won the contest. You know, why am I complaining? You know, I should be smiling.
And you're smiling big. The Mountain, once again, two-time Arnold Strongest Man competition, the world's strongest man. Congratulations, Hafthor.
Thank you so much, friend.
Logan in great shape tonight. Our third place being presented by Phil Williams from VPX and Rickard from Rickard Automotive. And the winner of the third place award tonight is Kyron Holden. Congratulations. Presenting an award for our second place winner tonight from Optimum Nutrition, Sarah Tita, from Pure Protein, Robbie Fusco, a check for $2,000, and our second place winner is Raymond Edwards. Congratulations, Raymond. And from Midway Labs, Carol Zawodzki. And from Rogue Fitness, Steve Slater, a check for $5,000. And our winner and physique champion tonight is Andre Ferguson.
So Andre, what's the trick here to win this competition?
I had to bounce back. My last showing wasn't the greatest, so I had to really, really work for this one.
Did you practice your posing, or what did you do better?
Dieted harder, didn't end up getting surgery.
So stay away from surgery. Stay out of the hospital. Okay, it's a good lesson for me. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you look fantastic. You look ripped. I mean, let's see a good ab shot. Come on. Look at that. Look at the guy. All of you look fantastic. I mean, this is one of my favorite categories. You look fantastic. Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to you. Keep up the great work, okay? You look great. Thank you very much. Let's have a big hand.
Let's get all of our winners together in the middle for your photograph. For all the media around the world, congratulations to all of you. Well done.
All right, continuing coverage here at the Arnold Classic. We're here with the big man himself, Big Brian Shaw. Brian, what's up?
How we doing? I'm doing all right, man.
You're doing all right, but man, everybody was looking for the big, the big moment where it's going to come down with you and the mountain and this and that, and unfortunately that didn't happen.
Yeah, that was what was supposed to happen, and that was what all my training was leading up to. I felt amazing coming into the Arnold this year. Everything was on point. I hit my numbers. And I don't know. Maybe it was just too good, and took my last deadlift attempt there and tore my hamstring pretty bad. So it's tried to battle through. That's what I do. But unfortunately, it was I just couldn't overcome it.
Brian is a Redcon 1 athlete, and we've been talking the whole time. And as I was walking into the expo, one of your training partners came up to me and he said, "Man, every single thing is on this time. Every time Brian competes, there's always something that, like a problem or an issue. This time, Brian is 100%.
Yeah, it was really crazy how well the training was going. I mean, I was texting you. I posted several different things kind of on either YouTube or Instagram or whatever, and the lifts were crazy, man. I mean, I was really strong coming in here, and it just, like I said, it just, that one instant, tear that hamstring, and all the hard work, you can't put it on display. And that's, for me, that's the most frustrating part, is not being able to perform to the standard that I know I can.
That's the thing, right? But Bob and me are commentating on bodybuilding, and there's never really a moment in bodybuilding where you're like, oh, he didn't hit the whatever, right? But for you, one small instance changes the trajectory of everything.
Well, I mean, people don't, because of the nature of the beast, this was obviously lifting ridiculously huge objects and things. People that don't know any better don't know it's such a precise sport. We were just talking a little off camera, Brian, about the deadlift, about the bar. The bar, if it's got any bounce to it, as you're picking it up, the bounce it's bringing the weight down. When you got 1,000 pounds on the bar, it makes a difference.
Sure, yeah. I mean, at those kind of weights, everything needs to be dead on, and especially this bar at the Arnold is very unique because it has more play in it. It really comes alive a lot more than even a normal deadlift bar. And there's not only myself. I mean, there was a couple other guys that got hurt on that event. So it's who knows what will happen in the future with it, but it's a very unforgiving deadlift for sure.
Well, speaking of unforgiving, talk to me and Aaron about the Wheel of Pain.
Yeah, that was a unique event. It was a spectacle. They put a lot into building that. It's a new event at the Arnold. For us, we've never done anything like that at all, and it was intense, man. I mean,
it looked brutal.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's like a truck pull for 60 seconds that never gets easier, and it's different. It's different. I mean, looking back, I would probably, obviously besides not being hurt, I'd probably prep a little bit different for that one, but it's very out of the wheelhouse, yeah, literally. It's a good.
Nice one, Brian.
Yeah. I wasn't even trying, but that works, man. It was crazy. It was crazy. A couple guys really went down and had some problems. That kind of work capacity is, for 60 seconds all out, is a lot.
Aaron, how proud are you of this guy? I mean, you had the vision
Very.
to bring Brian on. Now, traditionally, most supplement companies in our industry, they go with the bodybuilders. And the bodybuilders represent. And listen, there's some great ones out there. You've had some great ones on board. But talk to me about bringing Brian on and how that kind of changed the scope of Redcon 1.
So for when I look at an athlete or determine will they fit, right? It's always a difficult decision because you have to not only if you know what you're doing in sports supplements or really anything in general, when you find an ambassador or a representative, it doesn't just need to be somebody popular. It needs to be somebody who fits the brand. And for Redcon 1, it's difficult because we have blue collar work ethics where we have a real brand image. And so to find somebody perfect, actually Brian reached out to me. And when we got on the phone, I was like, man, there couldn't be anybody better. And today, he had an incident that was, wasn't what was planned, but man, couldn't be a better guy. You could put them all together. Every other guy he competed against, put them all together, and they're not one Brian Shaw.
Yeah, you got that. Well, that's for sure. They broke the mold on this one. But Brian, congratulations on everything, and we know you're going to heal up real quick, and we'll get you back out there as fast as we can, man.
Hey, that sounds good. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely.
You got it.
Yeah, that's another one of my favorites. Look at that. Look how long he can hold the pose. Look at that. He really trained. Congratulations. Wonderful. Fantastic. Yeah. Let's give him a big hand here. Most muscular man in the world.
Thank you, William. Thank you, Arnold. And now, the Arnold Classic Awards that you've all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. It's the last part of the show. So let's bring out our top 6. Let's see who they are. Presenting the 6th place medal, Rickard from Rickard Automotive and Natalie Eva Marie from Muscle Monster. And the winner of that $10,000 check in 6th place, Steve Coock Low. Thank you. Well done, Steve. From Real One Proteins, Chris Cromack, and from Pure Protein, Robbie Fusco, with a check for $15,000 for 5th place. And the winner of that tonight is Ronley Winkler. Congratulations, Rolly. From Allmax, Sarah Fowler. From Blackstone Labs, PJ Braun. 4th place, a check for $30,000. And our 4th place winner tonight is Cedric McMillan. Well done, Cedric. Presenting the 3rd place medal from Europa, Justin Weeks, and from Animal, Kendall Seawright. $50,000. There's a new kid in town, ladies and gentlemen, Luke Sandow. Congratulations, Luke. Our 2nd place medal from VPX Sports, Phil Williams. From Jantana, we have Jantana, $75,000. In 2nd place tonight, ladies and gentlemen, William Bonack. Thank you, William. Presenting our first place award medal for $130,000, Midway Labs, Karol Zawolski, and our winner, our new Arnold Classic champion, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Currie.
So let's hear it. What made you so perfect?
Well, man, God is good, man. Good genetics, man. Good coaching. Coach Abdullah, Oxygen Gym, Battle Die. My wife supporting me. My kids being here supporting me. I got the best team in the world. That's what you see.
But what did you do physically? Okay, a lot of those competitors have their wives here, they have their kids here, they have their coaches here. But what is the difference between your training and their training? What did you train more? Did you train more intensely, or what was it? Or did you pose more? Or what?
Well, when I speak of my team, it's like for those of you who don't know, my wife is totally cool with me going away for weeks, months at a time, training in Kuwait at Oxygen Gym with my coach Abdullah, and just being pushed to the limit, focus on all bodybuilding 100%. Not have to worry about anything. Those guys take care of me. My coach is with me every day, cardio, weight training. He's all in, looking at me every day.
And how much training did you do every day, when you say every day?
I mean, pretty much we have one day of rest, but pretty much every day we're in the gym at least a couple of hours. And then that's not even counting cardio. So depending on how much cardio we're doing, of course we do more to start, less to finish, because once we're in shape, we don't have to, we want to baby the body a little bit, you know.
And how much practicing did you do the posing?
Well, the practicing, we pose every day. I mean, every day we literally pose, but 2 times a week, he really wants to look at me, make sure I'm posing right, make sure I'm hitting all my shots right. And then when it comes to the routine, it's a lot of visualization. It's a lot of feeling the music, and it's a lot of just making sure you can see yourself in hitting those shots. And then when you go to practice, everything makes it easier, you know.
And what's the percentage that has to do with diet versus training?
That's an even ball game. I mean, we're in this sport because we like to train, right? That's why we're in this sport, right? So most of that is easy. But when it comes to the discipline of diet and the little fine-tuned adjustments, your coach looking over everything, seeing how your body responds to this and that makes probably the biggest difference when it comes to all those types that like to train, like to work out, like to be in the gym. So that separates the gym rats from the bodybuilders.
Well, thank you very much. You're a great champion. And this is the second Arnold Classic that you've won, and you won a third. Oh, you won in Australia? Oh, Brazil too, that's right. Yeah, well, I was in Brazil last time. I was in the hospital. You were? Yeah, exactly. In 2013, yeah, but no, the last year. Okay, well, congratulations. You look fantastic, and we see you very soon in Australia. Yes. Okay, good. See you, bye-bye. Give him a big hand, come on. Now let me do a quick selfie here, and then a Snapchat. Hold on a second.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's light it up for winner Brandon Currie. And thank you, Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're going to bring the guys forward for a group photo. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I just got a message from back home to say that the Arnold Classic live stream right now is the #1 viewed thing on YouTube in the world. #1. More people watching this right now than anything else in the world. Amazing. We've had a great night, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of everyone at the Arnold Classic, Thank you and good night.
All right, here he is, the man himself, Arnold. Great to be back in Columbus once again. This is my young boy, Nick. He's
nice to meet you.
The next generation coming in here, so this is a great honor. Once again, congratulations on a great weekend. Wow, what a fantastic show, and Brandon Currie, and what a representative of the Arnold Classic winner.
Well, I tell you, I was really impressed this time. You know, we have talked now several times when we did our Q&As at the Arnold Classic, and we have another one tomorrow. But we talked about, you know, the quality of posing and the you know, how long they hold the poses, and they felt like they were not in shape and they couldn't put in the stomach, and all of the stuff I was complaining about. But all of that is now getting eliminated, you know, so you've seen this time fantastic posing routines, very thoughtful. Everyone had their own kind of interesting music. They kept their waist in. No one stuck the stomach out. So I think it really registered, and I think that the very fact that we're giving money also for best poser and most muscular, so guys are concentrating on those things also. And you know, this is what it's all about, is, you know, to concentrate on being the most muscular, to be the best poser, to have the best body symmetry, and that's how you win the competition. End of story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is the second year at the Arnold Classic that you had the Classic Physique division. I wanted to ask you, if you were still competing today, would you compete in Classic or Men's Open?
I would compete in Men's Open competition, but I mean, I think that we have the Classic competition because today that the bodies look so different, and also what people are taking is so different. So it's like a different kind of almost a different kind of a competition. So the idea of the V-shaped body, the really lean waist, the abdominals, and kind of the wide shoulders, small waist, that kind of a look, and the symmetrical look, and the kind of look that when you walk on the beach, people look at that and say, oh man, I would love to have a body like that. You know, that kind of era is gone, so this is why we didn't want to make it gone. We wanted to bring it back and to have people have a choice. So today we have a double. We have the monsters, we have the really ripped big guys that are very muscular, that weigh 300 pounds, and we also have the symmetrical guy, the classic physique guys. So people really enjoyed it, and as you could see the difference, I mean, the guys yesterday in the classical physique, I mean, they all could hear a major vacuum. Yeah, I mean, did you see that? The difference because of what they take. So I think it's really great to see this classical physique, and so I think that the people today, the spectators, are enriched to have both.
Arnold, I'm so glad you're still here with us. The whole place got a collective gasp when a 400-pound stone came rolling off the front of the stage right by where you were sitting, and the whole place went, oh my God. How did that look coming at you?
Well, it was wild. You know, we are so worried because we pay so much attention to the safety of the stage. And, you know, we have to recognize that this whole thing where they're lifting is a stage that is built, that is 6 feet tall, and that's vulnerable. And it's, especially to that much weight at one place. So even though we have big platforms there, but then when it starts rolling towards you, and it starts hitting the ground and coming towards you, you know, that's really wild. But that's all part of show business, you know. I think it really created a little bit extra suspense today.
That it did, yeah, absolutely. But that strongman is so impressive. It's literally, I mean, even though I'm from a bodybuilding background, it's one of my favorite parts of the entire weekend. But that Wheel of Pain was absolutely incredible to watch.
Well, it's really amazing because so many times people, you know, say that, well, you know, some of those bodybuilding champions are not getting the big applause that in the old days bodybuilders got. But it doesn't mean that the audience is really kind of like lame. Because as you could see, yesterday when Miles was doing the deadlift, the kid with the cerebral palsy, right? So the people were standing on their feet. Sure. And the day again when the guy was doing the record in stone lifting, people were on their feet. I mean, they were like screaming, and it was like unbelievable the kind of energy you saw in the audience. So the audience just loves stuff like that. And this is why we are doing the last discipline of the World's Strongest Man competition on stage in front of the people, because most people don't get to see the whole thing. So thousands of people get to see it, but the people that come here in the evening maybe don't see the whole thing.
Absolutely.
So Brandon Currie, who won tonight, had a really small waist. What do you think, how important is it to still have a small waist today in bodybuilding?
I think it's extremely important because remember, the smaller the waist is, the bigger the chest looks, the bigger the back looks, the bigger the deltoids look. So this is kind of like when you make you take a piece of paper and you make a cross. You know, the middle where it crosses, that is the narrowest. and then it goes out. This is where the deltoids are, and then the bottom is where the calves are. So the calves have to be big, the deltoids have to be big, but the center has to be as skinny as possible and as ripped as possible, because your eye goes to the center. It doesn't go outward, it goes to the center, and this is what you see. So if you want to look good on the beach, the abs are the most important part. When you want to look good on the stage, when you pose, when you want to win, the more your waist is defined, the more you have the intercostals, the abs, the obliques, and the whole thing, and the slimmer you are, the better you're off.
Governor, once again, I appreciate you taking the time out to talk to our worldwide audience viewing on the webcast, and I'll see you tomorrow at the seminar, the hidden jewel of the entire weekend. It's going to be a good one.
Well, thank you, and you know we have been Snapchatting the whole weekend,
see that, yeah.
and you know, I do my selfies and all this stuff because social media today is very important, and this way so many millions of people can watch it live of what's going on here, and you know, we're very proud that we have this time, for the first time, 22,000 participants here in 80 different sports from 80 different countries. So this has been the biggest Arnold Classic Sports and Fitness Festival ever, and we are growing and growing, not just in Columbus, but in all the other continents.
I assume we'll see you back again next year?
Absolutely. I'll be back. See you, my friend.
Thank you.
Good to see you. See you Sunday. See you Sunday.
We'll see you in the morning. Thank you, sir.